Welcome back, everybody, to another podcast. Happy Friday.
Yes, happy Friday.
We are, for the first time, filming the day before. We got carried away.
Second time. It was one of the recent ones.
Oh. Well, today is Thursday for us, but we are here and we are making this podcast for you. So it will be up and ready to go on time.
Yes.
Yes.
We apologize for the minor inconvenience of uh inconsistency the past couple weeks. Tired, man.
It's really it's as if you had a newborn. Like you're not gonna get right back into things after you get a dog or a child. And to be fair, after doing some research, after getting Sky, or Puppy if you don't know, um, there were a lot of people out there saying, like people who have kids and dogs, they were saying that it's actually harder to have a puppy than it is a baby. That they would rather
I
have
don't know about.
babies more than puppies. But I can see it because with babies, they poop themselves. All you gotta do is change a
Oh, well, that
diaper.
was the first thing I thought of. Yeah.
You don't have to
True,
worry
true.
about taking them outside in the middle of the night constantly every hour. You don't have to worry about them peeing around the house. Babies can't walk or run or bite. So that's like the main thing already out the window. Yeah, they cry. And that's the only thing that like we're really thankful for that we didn't have to deal with Sky is that he never had trouble in his crate. So the whole barking and crying thing, that was never an issue. So there's that with babies. But like it's a baby, they're gonna cry. But puppies are harder because you gotta take them outside. God, they're freaking menaces out there because this guy likes to eat everything that he sees on the ground, no matter what it is. Could even be bird poop. He loves to go after poop.
I don't know what his deal is.
He just
My
eats
God.
everything that there is. But there were a lot of moms out there saying I would rather raise babies than getting puppies because they are somewhat harder in most areas of that thing.
Yeah, honestly, so if some of you don't know, I mostly edit two vlogs, our two vlogs that are supposed to come out every week. Lately, the past or this week, I was gonna try and make a second video for yesterday, Thursday, but I don't know. It didn't happen. And then the week or last week as well. I don't know. It's just like she said, it's very time consuming, and I find myself like even when I'm editing first video of the week. Normally, I would like to do that on a Sunday, but if for some reason we're just too occupied, doing getting ready for the week stuff, or like it's Sunday, you want to rest, you don't really want to do shit. Then Monday comes around, and that's like, oh, it's crunch time. The video has to be out tomorrow, but dude, when I get home, now I got to deal with this fuck ass puppy, and it's like every hour on the hour, and then you got to take those like 20-30 minutes aside, and like 20-30 minutes every hour, just like it bites into your
It
dime.
really, yeah. You think that it really doesn't affect you because it's like, oh, all you gotta do is take 5 minutes, go take him outside, come back inside. No, because he takes like 20, 30 minutes to find a spot that he needs to go potty in, or he just decides that he doesn't want to go potty and wants to eat everything. So then you're still out there fighting him for
Yeah,
a good chunk of time. So that's already,
and never mind the potty, it's like training. You got to do a little training session, maybe feed him, fucking you got to play with him for a little bit, bond a little bit. I don't know. I mean, yeah, you could say, oh, Felipe, when you get home, why doesn't just VNA just go take him out and you continue editing? Well, I mean, she's been with him all day. I got to have my turn as well. Because A, I mean, it's only fair. She's been with him all day. B, because I want to. I mean, like, I love the little guy. He's a little hellraiser, but I love him. So I want to spend some time and take him out and do whatever I need to do. So
yeah,
yeah, that's
it's a lot.
the issue for me personally, as far as trying to get videos out and just like make whatever. Because you guys know our vlogs are anywhere from like, I don't know, 20 on the low end, but generally we keep it at a good like 25-30 minute range. But usually all the content adds up to like over an hour. So then I'm there picking all the best stuff. Like I really take time to make our vlogs and stuff. So I'm not just like throwing things together real quick, chopping it up and making it like yeah, it looks that way, but I don't know. It takes a lot longer than I would like it to, but trying to be a master at my craft. I take pride in the videos that we put out. So yeah.
Yep.
Sorry for the inconsistency. It's just yeah, that damn pupper keeps getting in the way. But
we're getting there slowly. He's finally getting to a point where it's like we can leave him for a little bit longer
yeah.
and not have to worry about him every 30 minutes. He kind of does his thing, but it's gonna take some time. So we're still obviously gonna post our videos when we normally do. At least we're trying. This week we just it was busy. We have things coming up and things needed to get done, and that was a little bit more of a
Oh yeah.
priority, and also just like not so much to record, or at least it wouldn't like we could have recorded what we were doing, but I told him yesterday like I'd rather not put out a half-assed video just to have something up than not doing that.
Well, I mean, I understand when you say that. It it'd be it's fairly easy because like a day like yesterday, we could have easily went and recorded, chopped it up, put it together, put it out. I can understand not wanting to put out like half-ass shit, but I wouldn't have considered a day like yesterday half-assed to be honest. Like there was something there to watch. The difference is whether you find it interesting or not as a viewer. We, I mean,
I
we
wouldn't
always
have found that interesting.
we always come back to this. The point was to kind of show the day to day of our lives. We've fallen mostly into the weekend and more interesting stuff over the last, like, I would say 8 months maybe. But we originally started to show that the dumb daily stuff. I mean, for fuck's sake, when we were first making vlogs, I was showing myself putting clothes in the laundry. Like, I was trying to make it as interesting as possible by shooting like a basketball, but like, I don't
I
know.
mean, yeah, yesterday I just did that. Just didn't feel like a video. Maybe if we had recorded like more of a day in the life and started early in the morning, fine. But we weren't gonna start recording until like basically 5 o'clock, and that just wasn't nah. And
Yeah.
also, we would have had to edit that, and then that would have just been a long night too. And yeah,
Yeah, that's just that would have been my only reservation is having to stay up late because I got to put out the video today or yeah, today when we're recording this podcast, but yesterday. Um yeah, I don't know.
that's our rant.
I think I just like I said, Sundays I were usually overtaken with like just getting ready for the week stuff, but even then I can easily just squeeze in some time there.
Yeah,
I think I just need to be more disciplined about Sundays and then just figure out whatever for like Monday and Tuesday. I will be better, guys. I'm sorry. It's just tiring. Okay, gosh. Get out of work, long day of work, just to come back. Like I want my little times, but those do get in the way of the videos. I will figure it out. Don't worry.
yeah. Any whoosies? Today is today's podcast. What is the title here? We are going to basically redo our what was the title of that video? How we met?
How we met, how we got together, our relationship story. This
Oh,
podcast
that's
will
what it
be like
was.
the official story for like the 16th time.
We are bringing the explicit version to the screens, people.
Yeah. Um
That's essentially what it
the
is.
very first time we made this kind of or we told our story, I've talked about this before. Like I said, we've done this story time like a million times, but it gets a little more unfiltered every time we tell it. The very first time though was super like not even the PG-13 version, it was the PG version of what happened. We left out so many things. You can watch that video and compare it to how we're going to tell
Yeah.
it this time if you want. But yeah, that first time, I actually got kind of frustrated, like off camera, because I'm like, bro, like we're barely telling the story. Like they get the gist of it, they get the outline, but we're not going into detail about shit. And she was like, oh well, I just don't want to. It's embarrassing. Like, no, it's not embarrassing. Who gives a
Well,
fuck?
because there are certain things that like I definitely just don't want our whole life on the internet. Like, that's not what I'm trying to do. Yes, we are very open about a lot of things, but like, there are some things that I just do not want out there. And some of that stuff is like, that could have been said in the first video. Still don't really care to explain that, but like, still not even going to go into like extreme detail here. Just a little bit more detail than last time.
Wait, so what? To my understanding, we were about to tell the whole thing for real.
I mean, yeah, but we're not going to go into freaking specifics
Why would we
with
not go
certain
into
things.
specifics if
There
we're
are
meant to tell the whole
certain
story?
there are certain things in here that we don't have to go into specifics. You can automatically just assume what we're talking about.
Oh, you mean like sex, like yucky stuff?
Yeah, I
Like, no,
mean,
I'm not gonna
there's
tell them every detail of like the 2 minutes that I lasted. Like, oh my god, we were in this position.
no, I know that. I'm just saying when it comes to those parts, it's like, yeah, that happened. Move on.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you were gonna say like high details or something else, but yes, maybe we won't tell the
Nobody
every
wants to
last
know all
detail of
that.
how our yucky time went. That's fine, but I'm not here to cut out any other details because it's not cool, man. Why is my sock over there?
Because I don't know where the other one is.
No, Lord. Okay, Sky probably ate it.
Yeah. Anywho's, this is going to be a very long video, so we are
Podcast.
gonna. It's if you're listening on Spotify, audio, video, you're watching on YouTube, whatever, same thing. It's gonna be very long, so we're gonna jump right into it. We have somewhat of a rough script here to help us along the way because if you know us, we can really go off the tracks very often.
Yeah.
So hopefully we stay in the line here as
We
much as
should be able to.
possible.
I mean, we've told this story multiple times. We know the direction to go. It's just that now that we're going to reveal like the full thing aside from the detail of our sex lives, it's gonna go a little off the rails here and
I guess. Anyways, this is us. This is our story.
for real this time.
For realsies, the truth. Oh,
Ladies first.
there was a saying that I was trying to say and it didn't come to mind.
Fail.
What is it? I forgot. Never mind. Sorry. I was trying to think of where this
A
was
long
starting.
time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Oh, Jesus
Star Wars,
Christ.
please don't sue me.
For those for those of you who don't know.
Oh my god,
I
this
just
is
had
horrible.
I just had a Red Bull, so now my
Get
energy
your shit
is
together.
like
I'm about to
All
knife
right,
hand the
all
fuck
right.
out of you.
Shut up. Nobody cares about you. Be quiet.
All right, then I'll just. All right, go ahead.
So long ago, we have known each other since we were 12 years old. We met at the dance studio that I was going to, and his sister was going to, that he also got shoved into because he was doing nothing else with his life.
Yeah, I was a very Ooh, there's a name for those kinds of people, for my kind of people, not Hispanic, Mexican, like the people that just move like from interest to interest.
I don't know.
There's a certain name for my kind of people. But yeah, growing up, I did a lot of things: sports, extracurriculars, just all kinds of stuff outside of school. I think around this time, I had just got done. What was I, 12? Right? 11, 12?
I don't know. See, this is the part. These are the parts that I'm saying. Like, we can just say the basic stuff. We don't gotta go into too, or else we're gonna be here for freaking 5 hours.
We may as well be. But yeah, I just got done doing some extracurricular activity. I had nothing else to do. So I was like, oh, Lily's at dance, so just go and join her. I think I got done at like the church choir or some bullshit. No, I was still doing that at the same time. I just finished playing flag football.
Okay.
Champ. I'm the best.
Anyways, yeah, so he was at the studio. We ended up in the same class. There weren't really many conversations during classes because obviously you're in a dance class, so like there's not really time to be talking. But we had like before and after class, and that's when we would have our little high buys.
Yeah. I remember the first time seeing her. I always say this. It's like the classic you see the girl across the crowded room kind of thing. I'm pretty sure it was that I was on the left side of the room and you were on the right side of the room. And then like I just walked in. I go to like the very back corner because I didn't know anybody. That's the kind of kid I was. I was just like
God,
super
he was
awkward out of the
so
way.
weird. The videos that I have of him just being like stupid by himself, like acting like such a weirdo by himself, are
But by
hilarious.
that point, I was comfortable enough with the room that I just started being like
Yeah,
like
I know, but it was the fact that it's like you're
yeah.
literally being stupid by yourself is just what made you
Yeah,
look even
because I was
weirder.
comfortable, but I didn't really know anybody. But I was like, fuck these people. I don't really care. But yeah, I was on this side of the room. She was on the other, and we're doing the little stretches in the beginning. I'm just kind of looking around, observing the room. Like, who are these people? And then I happen to I happen upon this bucktooth Billy. So cute. Aside from the teeth, I can't ever get over that detail.
I'm sure you were waiting to say that.
That's always my favorite
You
part of
just,
this story.
yeah, that's the only
It's
reason
my
why you wanted to
favorite
talk about
detail.
that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so
If you
glad.
guys can somehow find a picture,
No.
it's just go to her mom's Facebook. You'll find plenty of them.
Uh-huh. Anyways, um, yeah, there weren't really, like I said, we weren't really talking. We weren't having like constant conversations. Um, but somehow the buys turned into really long buys, really
Yeah.
long hugs.
After class, we'd stand there hugging for like 5 minutes. Who the fuck hugs for
Yeah.
5 minutes?
Yeah.
But for me, I don't know. We seem to be on like maybe opposite sides of this because the way I perceive those hugs is like, I don't know. You kind of look at me weird whenever I talk about it.
What do you mean?
Because like I always talk about how it felt. Like I felt this really, really deep connection. Like
Oh
I felt
yeah.
like I could feel your soul kind of shit.
Yeah,
Like
no, I didn't feel that.
so obviously you didn't care as much as I did. You really didn't give. You don't give a
Well,
fuck about me.
through this whole story, you even know as yourself, you were the one that was trying to come after me for years. So yeah, you were the one that was a little more emotional
Well,
during those times. Because for
regardless,
me, it was like, oh, he's a cute little boy. I have a crush.
you little boy, I'm older than you. Respect your
Barely.
elders, kid.
I was taller
Fuck.
than you. Relax.
Well, I'm taller than you now, so who cares?
Yeah, by like 3 inches.
Anyways, yeah, no. In those hugs, I just like I don't know. I felt this really, really, really special connection, and I mean, it was very, very observable that she, whether you realize it or not, I guess, like you were really wrapped around my finger. Because even
Well, yeah, I thought you were cute. Yeah, that's why I was hugging you for 5 minutes. But it
yeah,
wasn't like, oh my god, I feel his soul. I'm attached to this kid. No, it was just like, he's cute.
you're
I
lame.
have a
I like my
crush.
version of the story better.
We were kids. We were 12 years old.
Yeah,
Who has some kind of
we were 12, and
soul attachment feelings at
because you're
that
lame.
age?
You don't even know,
I'm good.
loser.
We ended up here. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I it was cool. And my mom, she'd be like behind VNA, and then like I see her in the back, like, yo, come on, like we gotta go home. Get her the fuck off of you. And then eventually those after class hugs just got to a point where the the owner, right, one of the owners
Mm-hmm.
of the studio, she made a rule, hey, when we're done with class, get the fuck out because of us, because we were just like holding up the next class, or like we were just in the way in the lobby. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. And somehow that all turned into us dating, just a little kids dating.
Yeah.
But like it still wasn't like it was such a weird relationship because we got each other's Snapchat, Instagram,
Instagram. It was
Instagram.
mostly Instagram. Snapchat was like
That
not
was
really.
towards the end,
Yeah.
barely. But yeah, we got each other's Instagram. That whole thing started, but it still wasn't like it was still a very kid
I
relationship.
mean, yeah, we
Like,
were 12 years old. It wasn't much except for like, oh, you're so cute.
yeah, there wasn't really much happening. So it was more of like oh, we're boyfriend and girlfriend, cool. That was all that really happened.
Yeah.
That lasted for all of like 2 months. Still never went out except this one time we were supposed to go out.
Yeah, I remember that still very vividly to this day. We had agreed to go on a date. I don't remember what exactly the date was. Probably like go to the movie theaters or some bullshit. Um, but we had planned it, and then all of a sudden, my dad, yeah, my dad, he was like, "Oh yeah, you and me, we're gonna go take a trip up to see your uncle and aunt." I'm like, "What?" I had a date planned that day, and then he was like, you can reschedule it." And I'm like, "No, no, no, but we've already rescheduled like 5 times. Like this has to be the day, or else like it's fucked. Like we're done." And he's like, oh well, I'm sorry, but she's just gonna have to wait. If she's the one, then it'll wait." I'm like, "All right, bro." And I just started crying hysterically because in my mind, I'm like, "This is it. Like it's either this day or it's never." So in the car on the way to my uncle and aunts, I was literally crying my eyes out because I couldn't go on a date with this fucking girl. It was hilarious. And he was like, he's like, "I'm sorry, Felipe, but like, we gotta go see family." I'm like, "We can see them at any time." And he's like, "You can see the girl at any time." We were just at odds. It was funny. Um, but yeah, we never really agreed to go out on a date after that or anything. Like it was either we saw each other in class, but we couldn't do much because we're too busy dancing. We hugged after class, and then it was just a whole lot of texting
Yep.
and sending morning pictures.
Yes. Like the
No, yeah,
Snapchats of like, good morning, cheese, cheesy little kids, and that's
yeah, nothing
it.
dirty, nothing dirty at that point. That was like a good morning selfie, like, "Hey."
Yeah. That
Yeah,
was all that happened. And then fast forward a little bit, I was in the Burger King drive-thru and I received a Snapchat video from him,
yeesh.
and it was him dumping me.
Yep, except she didn't even realize it.
No, I didn't because the I was like in the middle of like getting my order and I didn't have the volume up. All I saw was like the video was playing and it was literally just like him just like talking. He's just there on his phone. I'm like, okay. But I didn't hear it. I just let it go. And then I had to text him and be like, "Hey, what was the video about?"
Yep. And from my point of view, uh, my family was going through some rough stuff. My parents were in the middle of their, that was like peak, or actually that wasn't even the peak, but it was starting to escalate to the peak of their bullshit divorce. And I felt this, like I felt something horrible coming. Obviously, not just a divorce, but it's just within myself because I mean, as you can tell, even from that young of an age, I had a very strong emotional capacity. I mean, I'm sitting here talking about, oh, I could feel her soul, and like I felt this deep connection because I really did. Like I've always been really in tune with my emotions, so I could really feel some shit coming my way, and I was like, I really care about this girl. I don't want whatever I'm about to go through to affect her. So look at me being so mature at 12 years old, more mature than some adults can say for themselves. Um, Not to toot my own horn, whatever. So I sent her this bullshit ass excuse breakup video talking about, oh well, I'm just not feeling it. I thought, we were going good, and like I don't know, I just I don't think I can do this anymore. I don't like you as much as I used to. Like,
Yeah.
I just totally downplayed my feelings. Like I didn't even know, like if she had actually heard it, she probably would have been like, "What the fuck is this kid on about?" Because like I came up with the most bullshit
I
excuse.
probably would have laughed or something, honestly.
Yeah, no, she it would have been hysterical if she had actually heard me because it was the most bullshit thing. So yeah, she didn't even know what I was talking about, and then she was like, "What?" Like later on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Later that day, she was like, "What? What'd you say earlier?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna say that all again." So essentially, I like paraphrased. I'm like, "Yeah, this isn't happening anymore.
Yep.
I'm just not interested."
Yeah. Um, I didn't really like take that to the heart. I mean, we're kids, so it wasn't like I had this huge breakup.
Yeah.
So I just, long story short, I did my thing and I moved on with my life. But him, on the other hand, had a rough few years for the next few.
Yeah. Actually, I was thinking about this the other day that a conversation I had with one of my friends when we got to high school, or no, when I was towards the end of middle school, because one of my best friends that I consider family, um, I remember talking to him like, yo, I feel like I'm in this kind of like Anakin Skywalker kind of story arc right now. And he's like, what the fuck
Yeah.
are you talking about? And I'm like, well, started out as good, and then the dark side kind of crept in, and then eventually he was a total train wreck for however long. And then I guess this was more like beginning of high school. um got back to the light side. So, oh shit, I lost my train of thought. So yeah, I was doing good, and then the divorce and all that shit, and I just like I not only did I separate myself from her, I even tried separating myself from friends, but like then I realized like, yo, that's a bit lonely. So instead, I just kind of took out whatever was happening within me on my friends at the time, and it just went very, very poorly. Um, Nobody liked me for a good stretch there. A lot of, or not a lot of, there was one specific parent that actually like got me in trouble, not through my parents, but like she straight up just like had it out with me. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, I love you. You're a great kid, but what the fuck are you doing?" Like, she really set me straight, or at least for the time being. Um, and yeah, no, I was just totally just a compulsive liar. I just was trying to live in a reality that wasn't even my own. Honestly, I'm always making shit up. Like, I was always away from home, doing bullshit. I stopped hanging out with the close friend that I just mentioned. Um, yeah, no, it shit just went very poorly. I had a very, very confusing middle school, just emotionally and all kinds of shit. And then as high school started, this is when I realized that I had totally lost my way. So that's when I got back to being friends with my family friend, or not family friend, my friend who is basically family. And that's when I had the conversation. I'm like, hey, I feel like I'm nearing the end of this like Anakin type, Darth Vader story arc for myself, where I'm coming back to the light, and like, I don't know, things just started going very well for me. Um, I got very, very strong within my faith with God, and like school, friends, family was a bit better. Well, actually, school's never really that good, but whatever. Life was just going a lot better, and then that's when I worked up my courage to
Yeah.
talk to her again.
So that was about 5 years
Yeah,
of from when we broke up until the point where he finally reached out to me.
yeah.
Um, During that whole period, I was doing my thing. I was dating other people. At that point, I was on to my third boyfriend, which ended up being my longest at that point.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I had already, gone through relationships, whatever. I was going through shit. And then around Thanksgiving time, um,
Going through what shit? I think we should more detail that.
that's not really relevant. I was just like being a bad child. That was it.
Promiscuous. While she was doing that, I wasn't really doing much except for like being a dickhead and hanging around with the boys.
Yeah. He didn't get involved with girls, but I was involved with other people.
Oh, I totally forgot to mention how I was like totally kind of watching you from a distance.
Well, yeah, I was getting to that point.
Oh, yeah.
Um, as I had mentioned, his sister went to the studio that I went to as well, and we were in the same. Actually, we weren't in the same group at that point, but same studio. So obviously, we had shows a few times a year, competitions, whatever. He would be there. He would go, and he would just kind of be like the fly on the wall and just kind of watch me and stalk me, ask his sister questions about me. But this was all during the time that we still weren't talking. Was it the last 2 or 3 years
Last 2 to 3 years. What?
of that time that we weren't talking? That's kind of when like you started to check up on me.
Yeah. So wait, we stopped. I was in seventh grade, right? When we. did a
Yes.
little kid thing. Yeah.
Hmm.
So then, pretty much the rest of seventh grade, eighth grade, ninth grade, 10th grade. Yeah, because and then actually towards like the end of 11th grade, because I didn't even have we didn't really hang out until I had my car. And I got my car 6 months after my birthday. Actually, a little bit after, maybe like 8 months after my birthday. So yeah, that's about five ish.
Yes.
Yeah.
But anyways, um, yeah, we saw competitions and stuff, showcases, whatever. He would be there, and I wouldn't ever see him, but apparently he would see me
Yeah.
and watch me.
Mommy and I always used to get, close to front row, like around that, just in front of the stage thing. Like,
Yeah.
I've always said this every other time we tell the story. Like, yeah, I'm there for my sister, and like, I love Luli. She's such a great dancer. So, so proud of her every time we were at the regular performances or like the, um, what are they called? The
Competitions.
theater
Oh, theater
type
productions.
shows or the
Which I
competition
also didn't
shows.
know that he was at.
Oh, yeah, I was at pretty
Because
much all
I
of them.
also didn't know. It's funny because I was in a lot of theater productions with his sister, and I had no clue that she was in them.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I had no idea until I started like looking back, or I think I didn't realize until like you had said like, "Oh, I was at those shows," and I was like, "Why the hell were you at the shows? Were you really watching me?" I was like, "Oh shit, let me look through the pictures," and then I saw his sister in there. I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this whole time I was dancing with her for like a few shows, and I had no idea."
Yep.
Anyways,
You were dancing with her a lot, and good for me because I wasn't really there for much other reason than the two of you.
mm-hmm.
Um, and even if she wasn't directly a part of a show, I think we usually still went because we were just big supporters of the studio at that time.
Yeah,
Like we were just there for everything because that was the hype of Weston pretty much for a while. Um,
yeah,
yeah, no, like she said, I would always ask Luli about VNA. Oh, how's she doing? What's the relationship status? How are things? Is she happy? Like, just checking up on her at the shows. I'd be
yeah.
like Peter Parker in Spider Man. What was it, two? When he's watching Mary Jane when she's performing. That's my girlfriend. Except she wasn't my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would just sit there and be happy about seeing her, while supporting my sister. And there was one time even, ooh, I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it was for one of the Lion King ones. Pretty sure.
That's the one that you into. The picture that we have?
That's the one with the picture that we have. Yeah.
Well, we were dating at that time.
Well, then it was another production later on when we weren't talking.
Probably. Yeah, no, because
Because
the Lion King picture is we were dating during that
yeah,
time.
yeah. So it was definitely another production when we
He
weren't
dragged
talking.
his sister and mother to that show to go watch me. Your sister was not in that show. I
Well, no,
remember.
that's what I said. Even when Luli wasn't in the shows, we were just there because the studio was performing and we liked the
Yes.
studio. I wasn't dragging them to go see you.
Well, that time specifically, we were dating, so that was a reason for you to actually be
Yeah.
there.
Um. But yeah,
Anyways,
this one time that I don't even remember what the show is. I just remember being in like the front row area and like you look directly at me while you're performing or some shit, and I'm like, but turns out you just didn't even see me.
no, that was the next Lion King.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. There was another Lion King or some shit where I literally
Yes,
like we
yes,
made
I
eye
remember.
contact.
Yeah, I remember. I did see you because I can literally picture it. We were in the line. We were in the wildebeest costume. We were in a line, and I just remember looking straight across, and there he is in his little suit in the front row. I remember it. I can picture it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he was always there. Um, Still no contact with each other at this point, but I mean, we had our little thing
I swear you
before.
smiled at me though.
I probably did. I don't know. I saw you. It's yeah. Um, so we weren't talking at this point. He would just see me or whatever because of dance. And then finally, he got the Bolitas to reach out. This was around Thanksgiving time of frick. What was it? 2019, 2018, 2018.
Yeah, 2018.
It was 2018 around Thanksgiving time. I had posted. I think it was on Thanksgiving actually because I had posted a video on Thanksgiving. and he swiped up with hard eyes. And
Was
that
it really?
was
I'm pretty sure we've always said that it was the day before Black Friday. Because the way we've always told the story is that the day before Black Friday, I swipe up and I'm like, "Yo, let's hang out tomorrow." And
you
then,
know the day before Black Friday is Thanksgiving, right?
yeah,
You sounded so stupid.
yeah. Oh, no, I
So
was just,
Thanksgiving.
yeah, I was just agreeing with you.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Black Friday
I was
is
just saying like the
Thanksgiving.
way we've always told it. But yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
And by the way, it's not like I was working up the bolitas. Like, it's that I had finally regained confidence in myself, and I was like,
Same
"Yo,
thing.
it's time. I feel good. I'm in a good place. I'm happy. It's time to go back."
But
Or,
he made a strong move. This was the first message after 5 years of no contact,
mm-hmm.
and the first thing was hard eyes.
Hard eyes. Yep.
And at this time, I am with somebody,
Who cares?
but yep, that didn't matter to him. At anything that we bring up in this video did not matter to him. He did what he wanted.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I just had a very strong conviction. I'm like, yo, because it's like I said, I felt this really strong and awesome connection, and I wanted to be able to explore that at a good time. And I deemed this time that good time, even though she wasn't single. But like,
Yep.
like we said, she was quite a promiscuous child. But while she was, I don't know, the way I perceived you and your promiscuity versus how you were with me, it just felt like a different kind of thing. I don't believe that I was treated the same way that you would treat some other
Oh,
rando.
absolutely not.
No, so like that's why even though I knew the kind of person or the kind of girl that she was, and like quite literally the kind of girl she was is my mortal enemy, but I don't know. I mean, she just said I was not treated the same as some fulanito de tal por ahí. You
Yeah.
know, she wasn't gonna treat me like some fuck boy.
Yeah, because if there was literally like the only time I would ever have a conversation with a male was if things were gonna go down, you know?
Yeah,
Like that's all there was. I had guy best friends because of dance, but outside of that, I had no reason to have guy friends other than if something was happening. So
yeah,
with him reaching out and us starting conversation again, that was definitely more of like, no, he's my friend type thing.
friend.
And at that point, yes.
Funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I had full confidence in what I was doing because one, I had my intentions. I'm like, look, I feel good about myself. I think that I am ready to take a shot at my first relationship. And I think that even though she might be my mortal enemy,
Which is something to highlight real quick. Never dated anybody else. He
yeah,
has never dated anybody else.
yeah. So, like I said, first relationship, I wanted to take a shot at it. And I believed that even with my mortal enemy, I can get a fair shot at my first relationship because, I mean, like we just established, I was not treated the same as some other random guy that she would just talk to for fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I shot my shot with the hard eyes. And pretty much since then, minus a few little breaks, we've not really stopped talking over the last like
Since 2018.
since 2018. So yeah, I don't really. I mean, unless you have screenshots of the conversation, I don't remember exactly how the conversation went. But it went from the hard eyes. I do know that the next thing, or she responded was with like "stop."
Yeah, I was
You
gonna
know how
say.
girls are like, "Oh, stop it."
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that's
and
really how I think it was more of like a catch up because obviously that was the first time that we were talking
yeah,
again.
yeah, that's probably how it went. We were just like, "Oh, like, have you been?" Blah, 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 like, "Oh, I've seen you around," kind of thing, but obviously never talked.
Yeah.
And then eventually, I was just like, "Fuck it, we ball." So I'm like, shoot my shot, and I'm like, "Yo, let's just hang out tomorrow. Why not? It's Black Friday. What else? What else are you doing?"
Yep.
And to no hesitation, none, she said yes. And
Mm-hmm.
then we can debate this until we're both on our deathbeds, but that was a date. because I said it's a date and there
Every
was no rebuttal.
yeah, every outing from the whole friendship,
Yeah,
whatever.
every time we hung out,
He called it a date.
it was a date because at the end of every conversation, it's a date, no rebuttal. So that means she accepted it because there was no
Yeah.
denial.
For those who are really listening to and stay to the very end, um, there's a lot of things that are still like so weird, like what I'm gonna explain right now. But just putting this out there first. There's just like it's just so funny how things fall into place and how we're here now together. But with him asking me to go out on Black Friday, during this time I was still being a bad child with my relationship and in school, and I wasn't the best kid. Um because of the trouble that I was getting in my relationship, I was never trusted to be around any male, let alone even go out with my boyfriend. I could probably count on like one hand with how many dates I went on with the guy that I was with for about 4 years. We did not ever have like actual dates because we just couldn't be trusted. So, with him asking me out, I was in my head like, yes, I said yes. But then I was also freaking out on my end because I'm like, I'm not going to be allowed out. Like, she doesn't even let me out with my boyfriend. She's not going to let me out with some random kid that she doesn't know who's also a male. But I had said yes. I was like, you know, I'm just going to figure it out. And then um that night or the night before we were going to go out, I went to go ask my mom and I was like, "Hey, Felipe asked if he wanted to go hang out tomorrow." And then there wasn't really much, like nothing really had to be said. She was just like, "Oh, okay. Where are you guys going?" Like, to Pembroke Gardens. Like, we're just gonna go walk around the mall. And then that was really it. She was like, "Okay," which was so weird because I was never to be trusted with anybody. And at that time, when I said Felipe, she wasn't putting like two and two together, like the Felipe that I had dated 5 years ago to the one that just asked me out. So she still said yes. Like, there was still no question about it, which is still so weird. And I don't understand like how that happened,
God
but
did.
I was allowed to go. And she didn't know who he was. And she was kind of freaked out too when she saw him because of how he looked.
God did.
Uh huh.
I don't know. To me, you can sit there and be like, I don't know. I don't know. It's a boy. I don't know. God did.
Uh huh. Well, fast forward to Black Friday. He gets there. He's walking. We had parked, and then he had parked a few um spots down. He was walking in
Yeah.
front of the car, and she saw him.
So I remember parking, and then I was waiting for you, but I think as soon as I saw the very front of your mom's van come around the corner, I was like, oh, she's here. Like I knew the van immediately.
Everybody knows my mother's
Yeah,
van.
yeah. I'm like, oh, it's my time. I gotta come out. And mind you,
He had like that man walk, like kind of like walking side to side. He's like messing with his hair. At this point, he had his really long lion mane, so he's
that
like
wasn't even
he's
the really long
messing with
line, man.
it.
I was in kind of
Mm,
like the sweet spot of like the awkward stage, but it's
I
like
guess.
it wasn't short, but it wasn't long, but it was long enough that it like I could get some shape to it. Like it was good. But oh, I remember walking up to your mom's car and honestly, like I remember you getting out of the car and you're like you got a smile
Yeah.
on your face and then your mom in the back like, "What?"
Yeah, she was confused on who this was, and then when we like fast like years later when we were
I
talking to
think
her
it was
about it, she was like, "I thought I was sending you off to like with some hobo man or something," because she was freaked out with how he was wearing a Hawaiian flannel shirt
yeah, I think the
with his
problem was
long
what I
ass
was wearing.
socks.
It was what I was wearing, not so much who it was walking. It was what I was wearing. Because that's
No,
what I
well,
was about
yeah,
to
but
say.
I think that was just also like when she was putting like, is that him? Like she was
Yeah,
trying to figure out who he was, and then this was the stage that he was wearing some funky ass clothes. Like his whole style at that point was just questionable, but we ignore it because who he is as a person.
I purposely I was in that stage of questionable style because I always knew that I was kind of like I said earlier, when I'm new around people or like when I'm new to a group of people, I'm very like quiet and reserved.
Yeah.
So in that specific time frame when this whole Black Friday thing happened, I was choosing to wear like super colorful, vibrant, just kind of out there outfits that would put me out there so that way I would draw attention and people could like I could get comfortable with people, I don't know. I just did that to make myself more comfortable being outside and not be so hidden in like monotone colors and just being another person and then having that like I guess social awkwardness.
Yeah. But that was just his style at the time, and my mother laughed at him for it all the time.
Yeah.
Everybody did.
I had
Everybody loved the way, or they say they love, but it was just funny to see the way that he dressed because it's like he got these long ass socks halfway to his calves
everybody did love
with
the way I
some
dressed.
Vans, and then always some weird ass top. At this point, it was the Hawaiian flannel shirt, which was so
Which I
questionable.
had bought earlier that day at Black Friday. It was $5. It was a $5 button down like Hawaiian shirt. And I was like, I forgot the name of the store at Sawgrass. I think wasn't it like Century 21, some bullshit, that big ass department store by the Rainforest Cafe?
Isn't that sex? Oh, it's sex? No, it's another store now.
Yeah, it was I think it changed, yeah.
Yeah.
But at the time it was like I'm pretty sure it was Century 21. Black Friday, $5. I'm like, for $5, I'm gonna have to buy this
That
one.
should have been $2.
And like, I was gonna say this earlier, but if for some reason that day had not worked out and like her mom said no or like, oh, you can't hang out with this kid or something went wrong, I would have been fine because I bought a $5 fun T-shirt that day. Like I was gonna boast that thing around. I think I was supposed to be hanging out with Rob and the boys that night, but I mean this came up, so I was like, let me get fitted up in this whack ass shirt and be
Yeah.
funny.
Um, but yeah, that night just consisted of us being stupid,
Yeah,
and it was as if those 5 years never happened, and like we were talking the whole time.
yeah. I Yeah, we said hi, we hugged in the parking lot, and then pretty sure waved their mom goodbye. And yeah, from that moment on, it's kind of like there wasn't that initial like, oh, like have
It
you,
wasn't awkward or
yeah,
anything.
have you been for the last 5 years like at a distance? It's like we were walking basically like shoulder to shoulder, like fucking
Yeah, we were
best
like
friends.
bumping around, like just literally being stupid, and also because like the night before we were also just texting like the whole night,
Yeah.
like texting the whole time up until that point. So it wasn't really like it was as if things just never ended.
hmm And like there was, if you guys have ever been to the what is it, Pembroke Garden, that outdoor one,
Yeah.
um, they play music like on big ass loudspeakers throughout the entire outdoor mall, and we're literally like having fun dancing to the music on the sidewalk. Like, dude, I'm telling you, this was such a good first date. We got ice cream. Yeah, we got
Yes.
ice cream. We just went into a bunch of random stores.
We almost broke some shit in like a really expensive store
Yeah,
because
it
there
was
was
just
fucking glass
yeah,
everywhere.
glass like sculptures and mirrors. Like we almost broke shit in there. We had to get out of there quick. There was this other toy store that we were playing with toys in there. Almost bought one for fun. Yeah, no, it was just a fun night. And then we sat down by the little water fountain thing, and we just sat there talking for a bit. It was cool, man. And then one of my favorite other details about the beginnings.
This is another one of those things he loves to throw out there.
Yeah, you know me, man.
Also, something that still I don't understand. But instead of my mom picking me up, he drove me home.
Yeah, I don't know when that was determined. Did you guys like talk about that before? Like,
No.
or no? Didn't we ask her? Like,
Yeah, it was when we were sitting there on the bench.
yeah,
We were like,
it was,
let's ask, see if he
yeah,
could take me home.
yeah. It was towards the end. We were like, oh shit, how are you getting home? And I'm like, I got you, babe.
Yeah,
It's a
the
word for word. No, that's not a word for word.
God, no, that was not what happened.
Yeah, I
Um,
was like, I can take you home if you want. She's like, oh, let me ask my mom. She said yeah, so I'm like, all right, bet. So I had just recently got my license at that point. I had my first car. I took pride in, I still do take pride, but especially then, fresh new driver, I took pride in the way that I drive. I made sure to be as smooth as possible at all times, even when I brake. I wanted to brake so smoothly that you didn't even notice that I broke. So we leave the mall, we get to this light, bust a right at the light. Then there's this other light down the road. You got to make a U-turn. That was the smoothest damn U-turn you've ever seen in your goddamn life, baby. Yes. And then I come around. She's like, "Damn, that was smooth." I'm like, "It's the only way I know how."
She just loves to talk about that.
Yep. And then I just took her home for the rest of blah blah. Call it a night. Goodbye.
Yeah. But it was a really fun night, and from there it was like, yeah, this we're best friends. Like
Yeah.
we got so close in such a short amount of time, literally just after having a few hours of conversation the night before and then hanging out and immediately already feeling so close.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was an instant connection there.
Instant. So yeah, from there it was like we hung out a few times. I think it was about like what, 2, 3 more times for the rest of the year, maybe. 'Cause that's like
Yeah.
November right there.
Yeah. Things were kind of spread out just because we had competition during that
Oh yeah,
time. So
true.
like I mean, his sister was also involved, so like he was kind of following plans as well. But I had a lot of things going with dance, a lot of practices and stuff, so I didn't really have much time to like really hang out or couldn't find a chance to hang out. But when there were chances, we were
Yeah.
together. We were doing stuff.
Yep. Yep. The second date was back at that same mall. We went to Fuddruckers first. Got us a nice fat juicy burger. She couldn't finish her meal, unfortunately, which I paid for.
I have a small tummy.
Yeah, wasted my damn money. I wasn't making a lot of money, so that would hurt. No, I'm just kidding.
Shut
I
up.
didn't really care.
I
I was
tried.
just happy to buy you a meal, and then yeah, we went to the movies. Actually, this main second date was the point was, oh, we're gonna go watch a scary movie. Yeah, and you guys know what that entails. When you're a teenager, you go watch a movie, a scary one at that. You're supposed to get your cuddle on, maybe a couple
Yeah.
smooches. None of that happened except for a slight cuddle.
I laid on you.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. A slight
Yeah.
cuddle, because
That
my
is still more because at this time I'm still in a relationship, people.
actually at that point you guys were on a
Oh, we
break.
were on a break actually because competition. Ugh, that's whole. God, that was chaos. We were on a break though, so I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do what I want."
Yeah, so I remember going into that day. She's telling me like, "Oh yeah, we're on a break," and then in my mind I'm like, "Damn, like I don't want to just I don't want to do this kind of shit right now because I know what a break means."
Oh, I was ready.
Yeah, she was ready to just jump my bones. And I don't know about you, but I don't acknowledge breaks as a thing in relationships. It's either
Yeah.
like you're together and you're figuring it out or you're not together. I don't know what the fuck this break shit is where you guys go your separate ways for like a month or two and then come back just to find out you've both fucked a million people and then you're like, "Oh, well, we never loved each other, so goodbye." Like this shit's bullshit to me.
Yeah.
So I already knew. She knowing who she was at the time, I'm like, she's probably gonna want to get some of this. And as much as I wanted to get some of that, I had no intentions because I wanted to do this shit for real. I wanted to do the friend dating stage. Well, I wouldn't have, like I said, I'm considering all these hangouts dates. So really, to me, there was really no friendship. Yeah, it was like a best friendship, but to me, it was the dating stage.
In all reality, if you really look at like how things went down, it's not your typical friendship, but
Yeah.
we were labeled as best
That's
friends.
why if you've watched any of our videos ever, whenever I say best friendship or friendship, I use my fingers as the quotation marks because it was not a real friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew what she wanted. She started cuddling up on me, and I'm like, that's cool, but I'm not trying to do none of that shit. And I think after we got out of the movie, I forgot what the conversation was, but the conversation was in that direction of yeah, I'm on a break, and my legs are wide open, Felipe. She was really trying to entice me, and I'm just like,
Shaved for nothing, man.
that registered late in my head. Yeah, you shaved for nothing that day. Because I wish I could remember the exact verbiage, but the conversation was going that way. And then I was like, uh, I'll just take you home.
Yeah.
That's kind
I
of how it
mean,
went.
actually, we watched the movie first and then we went to eat, didn't we?
No, I'm pretty sure we ate first.
Oh, well,
Because I remember being on somewhat of a time crunch leaving Fuddruckers, like, oh, we got to go make the movie.
oh, well, yeah. It was just Fuddruckers went to the movie and then he took me home right away. Um,
Yeah.
but it was I didn't want to do things in a way that like I said or like he said a little bit ago where it was like I never treated him the way that I ever talked to anybody else. Even though me wanting to do stuff on that second time of us hanging out is probably how I would act like with anybody else. It was more of a way that like obviously there's something still
Oh,
here.
so you wanted to make love. That's essentially what you're getting at, right?
Let me speak. It was like yes, we did it when we were 12 years old and it was just a funny little thing, little fling. But like our connection was always or it felt like it was still there. There was obviously something that I felt. I mean, we know that he's been trying to get after me this whole time, but for me personally, with us having like that instant connection, it just kind of already felt like okay, there's obviously something happening between us already or more to happen in the future. But like I was already feeling that in that moment. So it was more of a like I already feel close to you. Like I want to do this. It wasn't in a way that like, nah, I'm trying to fuck and then that's it.
So you wanted to make love.
I guess. Yeah.
You wanted to make real physical intimacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't just like being horny and like just wanted to get on and then move on with my day. It was more of like I already feel close to him. Like I'm comfortable and okay to do this. But it was the second time that we hung out.
Yeah.
And probably within like a
And
month or two.
again, I'm no dumbass. I knew honestly that bit is news to me. I didn't know that she
Yeah,
wanted me.
I've never explained that.
Yeah, she's never said that before. So like, I guess that's cool to know. But honestly, I had no interest in doing anything because I already know how this break shit goes. We had the conversation. Oh yeah, we're on a break, and I'm like, okay, good for you. Figure that the fuck out. Like, stay away from me, kind of thing. I wasn't trying to get mixed up in this like, what's it called, a love triangle bullshit
Yeah.
where she's kind of with me and like doing things with me, but she has this guy, and no.
Yeah, no, it
I knew
worked
what it
out
was.
that he had, boundaries because as terrible as this will sound, yes, I wanted to do it in a way that it was genuine with him in that moment, but with me being on that break, I was still going into my relationship. So
Yeah, she
like,
was going back
yeah,
regardless.
we if we had did things, it would have happened, but I would have still gone back into my
Yeah,
relationship and it wouldn't have done
yeah.
anything.
I saw that there was literally no benefit to anything happening between us. So I was like, yeah, let's just wrap this up, call it a night. I'll take you home. Uh,
Yeah.
I believe we hadn't hung out for a while after that. But
Yes.
within that time, we still were texting, we were Snapchatting a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, like I was hanging out with the boys one night. I didn't get like obliterated type of, drunk, but I was a little bit tipsy that night. I got home and there was this one late night where we were just like up texting on Snap. And then I really just let her know my intentions because this was a while after that whole they're on a break thing. But like, I just really needed to let her know. So I'm there on Snap talking about like, look, I have really strong feelings for you. I want a relationship and blah blah blah. And that was kind of like the first really 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 soft rejection because she never specifically said no, right? She was kind of dancing around it without saying it. It was more like, oh, I'm sorry, maybe later, I can't right now, kind of thing. So I'm sitting there revealing my feelings and getting this really soft no, but I'm so down bad, right? Like, I'm a single kid, I want this girl. I'm like on Snap, but it was okay. I was literally, my intention wasn't to try and like convince her to be with me. That was one of those times where I like
Just putting it
kind
out
of
there.
almost was planting a seed. Like we both knew what was going on. Like we
Yeah.
both knew our connection was there, but I was kind of planting the seed of, hey, like I want this and I intend to have it. And as weird or forceful as that sounds, you know, I want something, I'm gonna try to get it.
Yeah. I mean, he expressed his feelings. He was clear about it, and I mean, what more would you want other than a clear man who feels confident in how he feels? But I knew, as toxic as my relationship was, and I knew I should have gotten out of it way sooner. I wasn't planning on getting out of that relationship anytime soon. Because, like, even though, yes, we were arguing 24/7, there was a lot of shit that shouldn't have been happening. I wasn't ready to leave that. So I knew, like, I knew we were going to end up together at some point, or like something was going to happen. I just like wasn't okay with saying like, yeah, this can happen now, because I just wasn't going to get out of my relationship at the time.
Yeah. And I was okay. Like as down bad as I was and like really wanting to be with her, I mean, again, I was hanging out with the boys on a daily basis. I got school and just like random boy business to worry about. Fucking
Yeah.
let's play sports on the weekend, play the game, play 2K, GTA. Like I was fine. I just really needed her to know.
Mm-hmm. At that point, things are clear. Things have been said. So now it's like it's known on both sides. Like, yeah, we know we have feelings for each other. So our friendship is obviously leaning more towards a you're friends, but like you're not really friends kind of thing. But still, nothing really happening. We're just if you look at it from an outside perspective, it looks like we're dating because of
Yeah.
how close we are. And then eventually we finally get to our third date, which is one of my favorites,
Mm,
and also the funniest, and just kind of shows like how we felt for each other at that point.
yeah.
But we went. It was a full day of activity,
Yeah. We started early.
bright and early,
Yep. Went to First Watch right across the street
which
from
was
Sawgrass Mall.
my first experience. And ever since then, it's my favorite breakfast spot.
Yep. Yep. Went to uh fucking First Watch. Got that $1 million bacon.
Yeah, this
Badass.
man had me waking up before everybody else in the house. My mother's like barely waking up for the day, and I'm like already out the door
Yep.
to go have some breakfast with this kid.
Shit was lit.
Yeah.
That $1 million bacon's busting, man. You gotta be first at the door. Because actually though, you do have to be first at the door. First Watch gets packed quick. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we went on a Saturday morning, and that's like
Yes.
that's prime time. So yeah, we were out of there. I had that reservation. Like we had to go. Breakfast was good. And then this is kind of one of those funny moments. You can go ahead and tell it.
we're talking, we're eating. I was wearing sweatpants that day. He was wearing shorts. It was a little chilly in there. And then, as we're talking, all of a sudden I feel something rubbing against my legs. And then he is just rubbing his legs on mine in the middle of our conversation and us eating, but like not saying anything, just rubbing himself against me.
Yeah, my legs were cold. I wanted warmth. That's the only place I could find.
Yeah, but like it wasn't acknowledged, like it just happened and then we continued.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't weird. And this again is our third time hanging out. But it was okay. We moved on.
That was just our level of comfortability.
Yeah, that
It's like we
was
keep saying. The connection and like we were just on a different level so fast. Like really nothing everything goes. That's how it was.
yeah. I'm pretty sure we kind of like just sat like intertwined the rest of the period.
Yeah, after I got done warming up my legs, our legs
Yeah.
literally we
We
just
were just
stayed
crossed.
intertwined, just like finishing our breakfast.
Yeah. So that was fun, but that just kind of like in that moment it was like, oh, okay, this is how comfortable we are now. Like
Yeah,
this is there are no what is it? What's it called? Is it restriction? No, not restrictions.
there are no limits.
Yeah, I
That's what I was
guess.
saying. Like it was a everything goes kind of quote unquote friendship. Like we were just it was a different level. And that again was another one of those moments where I'm planting a seed because I was just like it's I don't know.
I
I
know
was
this man
very
wants me.
yeah, I was very bold in like testing the waters and to see how far I could go without crossing the line that I set for myself, which was physical intimacy.
We were physical, but in a playful way.
Yeah, it was like a playful, innocent, like kind of way, like the rubbing legs kind of thing.
Not
Like,
enough freaky making out yet.
yeah, I was just kind of like trying to walk just before the line and just, set that set that intimacy, set the physicality and like it's just I had this master
He was
plan, yo.
locked in.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
was locked into my plan. Like I
Yeah.
had to let her know. Now we're hanging out and I'm starting to show. Mm-hmm. It rhymes.
Yeah.
Let her know, show.
Uh-huh. Make a t-shirt. But yeah, that day was just breakfast, hung out at the mall for a few hours,
Yep.
messed around in there. It was fun.
Yep. Messed around Target, messed around what's the other store? Spencer's. She put a dildo on my head. Or not a dildo,
It was a hat deal.
it was a hat
There was
with
a
a
wee wee on a hat.
yeah, yeah. That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun day. What happened after that?
I don't know. I just know we were at the mall for a few hours, so that just kind of took up most of the day, and then we just went back home.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure after that it was wraps for the rest of the day.
But from then on, that was just kind of what initiated
Yeah.
hanging out on a regular basis.
Yeah. That just started a whole me at her house, us driving around, Pembroke Pines, Weston, Cooper City, all the surrounding cities.
Driving around was just our thing.
Oh yeah, that was the main thing. Not so much we would go to malls every now and then, but mostly it was just a lot of driving around and then just stopping at random spots, hanging out outside, and then just like
Yeah.
going back in the car. Um, a lot of the times I would be hanging out with her specifically at her house or her parents' house.
Mhm.
Mostly, I mean, like, yeah, I was there to see her, whatever, but I was trying to get in with the parents too.
Yeah.
I remember the first time, I guess, officially meeting the parents, because obviously I'd met them before and like passing at the dance studio, but like this was that official time where I'm like, I'm the guy.
You hadn't met
Oh
Seth
yeah,
at
I had
that
never
point.
met her stepdad at the time. The mom, we kind of knew each other, but like it wasn't really a
This
relationship.
was a finally that she was at that point. It was like, okay, this is who he is.
Yeah,
Like now I see.
yeah.
And she got the hint. She got the idea of what was
Oh
happening.
yeah, they both did. They both did. I made myself very clear because I it was I think it was maybe even after that time at Sawgrass, or maybe even one of the times after. But it was kind of like the afternoon, and I was taking you back home after hanging out all day, and your parents came out to say hi because I they were probably like, "Yo, who's this kid that she keeps going out with?"
No, the first time that you met them was when you brought me Duncan.
Oh, I started doing that. Yeah, a lot of the times,
That was also his thing. He'd bring me Duncan a lot.
yeah, there was a lot of times where I wouldn't even go to hang out. I would literally just bring her Dunkin' and leave,
Yeah.
just as a surprise, like just as a
Hmm.
little cute thing. And yeah, no, one of those times. But this was in the afternoon though, so I don't even why I brought you Dunkin' in the afternoon. I don't know. I just felt like it. Felt like being nice.
Yeah, it was like afternoon, evening because
Mm-hmm.
it was already
It ended up
lights
getting
out.
dark while I was talking to her parents outside. I brought her Dunkin', Starbucks. I would usually, as when I mean it as a surprise, I would usually go to Dunkin' or Starbucks and be like, "Hey, like I'm going to Dunkin' or Starbucks. What's your favorite order?" Just because I want to try it out,
Yeah,
So
as like a what do you recommend type of thing.
yeah, as a bullshit excuse, and then I'd get it for me and her, pull up to the house, and boom.
That was also the other thing that was like so funny. This man just pulls up whenever. Like he doesn't tell me when he's coming or what he's doing. He's just like, I'm outside.
Well, yeah, because that's I don't know. That's how I've always been with my boys growing up. Like we wouldn't really even schedule like, oh, let's go to so and so's house on this day. It's kind of like you figure it out on the fly kind of thing. Like, oh, let's just all go to his house right now, or just show up.
It was just not weird, but like kind of an off guard type of thing because it's like it's another another guy showing up to my house at random points.
Yeah.
So it was more of like scared of how my parents were going to react out of it, but like they could care less. They were talking to him every time.
Yeah.
So that wasn't really an issue. But like in the beginning, when he would just show up, I'm like, oh my God, like they're going to say something. They're going to hate you. Like, I'm scared. But no, it was fine.
Well, I had no worries of your parents being like skeptical of me because I'm doing a nice thing. I'm
No, yeah.
coming and I'm
And
bringing you something.
like he said, it was never a, I'm going to come hang out with you. Well, yeah, he would hang out. But like for the most part, when it was like a coffee run, it was literally just, hey, I'm outside. Gives me my coffee and donut, and I walk back inside, and he's gone.
Yep. Yeah, one of the first times, or I had done that a few times, and then eventually her parents actually came out, and literally we were there hours on end.
Yep.
Like her stepdad at the time, and myself. Like eventually, the conversation was you and your mom just standing there, and him and I just like going back and forth
Yeah,
forever.
they were just talking by
Yeah,
themselves.
we just became homies at that point. And that was kind of my goal because, like, obviously, you want to get a girl, you got to get cool with the parents, but you also got to get cool with the dad. Like, you got to be locked in.
Yeah.
And that we were. And I was always cool with her mom. Her and I love each other. And it's just like, yeah, eventually, they actually started inviting me in. I didn't even have to ask if I could come inside, they would just let me in.
They adopted him.
Because yeah, I built up that relationship outside. I started doing things from the outside, bringing coffee, leaving, talking, maybe a little high and by. But yeah, I got in with the parents. They started letting me into the house.
Mm-hmm.
uh Eventually you guys had your big move from one house to the other. I
That
got picked.
was that was a big aspect of the relationship between him and my parents.
Yep, they picked. I got hand selected first round number one overall draft pick to help move houses.
Yep, he was
And
there every day.
my mentality in this, the reason I accepted, not so much to hang out with her and the family or whatever. The way I may sound stupid, but like the way I perceived this invitation to help was like they're asking me to take part in home building activities. If I take part in a home building activity, she will see me as a home builder, as a trustworthy man that she can build a home with in the future. So, duh, I got to say yes.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, you know, it's cool. We got to hang out and whatever.
Yeah, but because of that, he was always around.
Yeah.
And then again, still we're in a relationship at this point,
Yep.
but that man is never around. It's only ever Felipe. He was always around. He was going bouncing from house to house, moving stuff, packing, whatever. So that whole thing really helped connect him with my parents a lot because, I mean, he's literally at the house every day. And also, moving is a huge stress factor. So he was also included in all the stressful things and
Yeah.
saw everybody's emotions.
Yep. There was, I mean, if you guys have ever moved in your life, you know that there's a lot of chaos and just potential catastrophic activities that can happen at any point.
Which did.
And there was a lot, particularly that
Yep.
happened with this move. And yeah, I was there for all of it. I saw everybody when they were at their happiest and when they were at their most pissed.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was there through it all.
So
I
that helped.
I came about as a trustworthy extension of the family friend.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
He was also, and this is also a part of his, getting close to the parents thing. He would hang out with them, and I wouldn't even exactly be there. Like, there were times where the day that the flood happened, because our house got flooded because freaking movers are stupid, I was showering, but he was downstairs with my mom. And then there was other cases where like my parents are in the living room and they were watching a movie and he's down there with them, but I'm upstairs. Like he was
yeah,
always just with them talking. It was never a problem. I didn't have to actually be there.
yeah. Because a lot of the times you would be away as like you're either in the bathroom or you're in the shower, or a lot of the times was you were something was going on with your ex. Because there was so many moments where you just kind of walked away and you had an attitude, and they'd look at me like, "Dude, what the fuck?" And I'm like, "I didn't do anything." And then they were like, "It's probably the boyfriend." I'm like, yeah, who the fuck cares? Let's you and me talk. I was getting in with the parents. I could give a
Yeah.
shit about what was happening with her because I'm here to set up the future.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And he would hang out down there, talk to them, and then come upstairs and say bye, and that was it.
Yep.
And that was just what our hangouts consisted of. He was always at my house for everything and anything. And I think during this whole moving process is when we started getting a little closer.
Yeah, no, we definitely, and it was initiated by her. Let me preface with that. There was during the moving process, she would find like sly little moments where she would grind her butt up against me and like kind of do the feel my wiener out kind of thing. Or there were some times where like there was one time, oh my god, we were at the first house
Outside.
and we had a
On the
butt
patio?
slapping competition. A literal butt, like we were slapping each other's asses. But then when I was slapped her ass, she would be a little more sexual about it, the way she received it. Like she acted like she liked it, and I'm like, hmm. Like she was really playing with me that day. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I pushed him a lot.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That day, the little man downstairs got a little blood flow, to say the least.
Uh-huh.
Yep, and she was very well aware of that. Like she knew, she saw it, and then I was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to go home. Like I didn't want to take any chances. This was the point where we got to that next level of our relationship, and I was trying so hard to just push it away because I'm like, I gotta do this the right way.
Yeah.
But she was really, really like
I really teased him a
really
lot.
teased me hard, hard. It was painful. Lots of lonely blue ball nights. Mm-hmm. Yep. But that was pretty much the entire 2019 year. Is just
Yeah.
the big move, hanging out whenever we could, and just maintaining that best friendship on Snap, texting. Yeah. And then 2020 happened. Ugh, what a year. Lord. Um Not much happened until COVID, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that January, February was just kind of like the regular BS, we're having our regular friendship. Then COVID happens, and I was like, literally, I had the message typed up, ready to copy and paste to ask her to prom. And as I was working up that courage, and mind you, I think we just talked about this in a previous podcast. I wasn't trying to go to prom and like be disgusting. Like I was really just trying to have a good night out and be home at a respectful hour.
Yeah.
What her intentions were for that day were her business. Yeah, I was gonna invite you to prom, and then the world ended.
Yeah.
And from there is where you would expect things to kind of drift off because COVID, everybody's separate. But honestly,
No, this man was up my booty.
somehow we just got closer and closer because I was the kind of COVID person that did not care about COVID, so I was always out. And I took advantage of every opportunity that I could to still hang out, whether it was in the car or just outside her house or going into her house. I
Yeah.
really didn't give a fuck about shit. So our relationship got even closer because now we were just hanging out like a lot more because school was canceled, kind of the world was canceled. So all we really had to do was hang out with each other.
Yeah.
And ugh, this is kind of the time where I let my guard down a little bit, as far as trying to stay away from physical intimacy. There was one day where we were hanging out, driving around Southwest Ranches. That's the one
Maybe. Depends what you're talking about.
where the thing happened. We were
I'm a
driving.
little lost.
We were driving around the ranches that were like,
To our designated parking spot?
yes,
Oh, yes, that was Southwest Ranch.
yeah. So we were driving around there, and then I forgot how the conversation. Oh, actually, it was a fairly simple conversation. I'm
I
driving
really
around
don't know how it led up to that point.
literally. Okay, so actually there was more before this. Um, Obviously during COVID, there wasn't much to do except hang out with each other. But my parents at this point were living separate, so I was going between my mom's house and my dad's house, kind of like almost every other week or like every 2 weeks kind of thing, because that was an opportunity for us to just be able to hang out more. So there was this one specific um, week. My sister had been there for 1 week. I joined for the second half of the week, and then during this week, I think that's when I came to the realization. Because like I've talked about this before, where like I've always had this struggle of what love is, and like I don't know. As much as I had strong feelings for her, and we knew what this relationship, quote unquote friendship was, I never really like knew if it was actually love. Like I never had come to that point where I'm like I'm actually in love with her. Because we would for fun just say like, "Oh, I love you," like when we're saying goodbye or whatever, like
Yeah.
over text. But I never knew if I was really in love. So I came to that realization. And then I think in that same week, I was also having, very, very strong feelings of just like, because now I'm in love with this girl. So now I have this new level of like lust.
This man was horny.
Yeah. I had this new level of lust for her. And it was honestly unholy. Because now I got to the point where I was like so down bad and like, yes, she's still in a relationship. And I'm like, oh, like now I'm talking crazy. Late nights, I'm at my dad's house. And like the way it goes at my dad's house is, you do whatever you do during the day. Then in the evening, you wind down with a movie and a drink. And I was feeling a little, I forgot what movie we were watching that night, but it was a good action movie. But I was distracted from the movie because I'm busy texting her on the side off the couch,
Yep.
bit tipsy. I'm like, yo, I just I needed to see. I needed to see what she really looked like behind the clothes. And she ended up actually sending me pictures. And oof. I
He had fun, to say the least.
I had fun. Yeah. But honestly, like after the fact, it was kind of one of those like post nut clarity things that everybody talks about. Cause then I just felt bad because I'm like, now this just kind of ruins everything that I wanted. Because now we're doing like the crazy thing. Because
Yeah.
again, you're still in a relationship at this time. None of what happened that night was supposed, like, it's not at all what my intentions was. But because I realized I'm in love, I'm like, God, like now I'm really starting to feel those extra feelings. And yeah, I really crossed the line that night. And then we started talking even more crazy because now she sent me the pictures. Now we're on this another level that we just
Yep.
came
Now
up
we're
on.
on that level
Now
of
we're on the
things.
intimacy level for real. And now I started talking crazy, but then she was talking crazy back, right? So now we're just both talking crazy to each other. And when I get back from my dad's house, the first thing I do, aside from get home and unpack my bags and stuff, the very first thing I do is leave my mom's house and go straight to her parents' house at the time. Um, and yeah, I told her to come outside and like straight up just picked this girl up and threw her on the hood of my car. And we were fully making out, tongue and all. Like, like we really, really went for it because now we both knew. Like we knew before, but now we've unlocked this new level
Yeah.
where shit, like everything really, really goes at this point. And yeah, at that point it was just kissing. And then there were a few times like that was a trend for the next few weeks where I would go to your house late at
This
night.
man would not want to stop making out with me. That's literally that's like
Hey,
that's
you
all
can't
he
you
wanted.
can't sit up there and act like our kisses aren't like this amazing sensual
No,
thing.
I'm not saying they weren't, but like you really
Okay, because now you're the first girl I'm really ever kissing, and those were good kisses. I could not get enough.
yeah, I could tell.
Yeah. So that was a trend for the next few weeks is showing up to her house kind of on the later side of the day. So, I'd park maybe a little bit up the road or down the street. She would come walk out, and then we would just like, just basically like dry hump on my car. Not really, but we'd make out heavy on my car, and then she'd go back inside, and then I'd go home.
Yep.
And then,
Mm.
um, I think there was another 2 week stretch where I went to my dad's house. Or actually, no, that's when we were driving around Southwest Ranches as well, and yeah, you know, we did the oral deed, or she did the oral deed, if you know what I'm saying.
Hmm. Well, this was actually this that happened because this was closer to when he was about to leave for BMT.
Oh, true.
So this was like a
Oh, wait. So yeah, let's not get to that. Be quiet. Be quiet. Yeah, I had the 2 week stretch at my dad's house, and in those 2 weeks, I was like, we've already crossed so many lines. Like, this is me talking to myself. I'm at my dad's house. I'm like, fuck. Like, what have I done? Because none of the making out, none of the picture sending, like, it was never supposed to happen. So now this isn't even a friendship. This is just, I felt dirty with myself because I'm like, I didn't want this, and now she's cheating. I mean, not that her relationship was much to respect at all.
at this point I was already like so emotionally out of it. I was so detached.
Yeah,
It was more of like, yeah, he's there, unfortunately.
yeah. And maybe you were on like one of your 82 breaks as well. Because you guys were on and off like
Yeah.
day in and day out. Like every other day it was on and it was off.
Yeah, the last year that we were together was very very rough, and it consisted more of us being on a break than it
Yeah.
was us actually being together. So like that whole last year that we were together, while I was with my ex, that just it wasn't even like we were together at that point because I was out of it.
Yeah. So yeah, we've gotten to this point, and like I said, I felt dirty with myself. Like now we're kind of in this love triangle, like weird kind of cheating scenario, and like I hated to be a part of that. So I kind of put my foot down, like halfway. I'm like, I sent her a voice message, and it's still probably in our text messages to this day if you just go far enough back. Um, I had to let her know. I'm like, look, I am really fully, irretrievably in love with you. Like, I really just laid it out all on the line. And I remember that morning specifically, I woke up early. I went to go watch the sunrise because my dad lives across the street from the beach. And so yeah, I skateboarded across, watched the sunrise. I came back, and then I just like that whole time I was thinking about what I need to do and how I'm gonna say it. I ended up sending the message, and then she came back with like, "What did you say?" I mean, it wasn't a yes, of course.
No, I think it was it's usually all the same response the several times that we were in this position, but it was always like a, you know, the I have this going on type of thing, and like I want to but I can't.
Yeah. So I know what happened. You didn't say yes, but you didn't say no, because then
Yeah,
we agreed like,
I never really
let's
understood.
talk about this when you get back from your dad's house. I was like, okay, cool. So now I'm kind of in this. Oh no, you said I gave you time to like. We said to give you some time to like collect your thoughts, kind of thing, and then that we would talk when I get back to my dad's house. So eventually, I get back from my dad's house, and then we kind of set this day and a time to pull up to your grandma's house,
Hmm.
and yeah, that's kind of where like my first ever real heartbreak, even though we weren't in a relationship for real, really happened. And somehow she was the one crying at the end of it, not me. I had to console her. um, yeah, she ended up saying no, and
I mean, you were heartbroken.
I mean, though I was devastated, but I didn't cry. You were crying, and
Well,
like,
I'm a girl.
yeah. So it really felt like a breakup. It really did because we had built up this basically relationship, but like at this point, I was discussed it with myself, and I was also standing up for myself because I'm like, I'm kind of your boyfriend, except I don't get the title. Like, I get all the rewards with no title because we had been doing all these yucky things. We've been talking the way that we had talked to each other and texting. And like, I had enough of it. So I'm like, look, I'm not going to play a part of this if I'm not going to get the reward or the ultimate title reward. Um, and yeah, she was like, I just can't do that right now. Maybe later. And then when she said maybe later for like the millionth time in my head, I kind of stopped her and I was like, no, like, I can't hear that anymore. Like, this is like, I'm done chasing. This is it kind of thing for me. And you would think that we were really done. That's why I say I have put my foot down
Yeah.
because I really meant it. I'm like, look, I'm not going to keep doing this if I'm not going to be your boyfriend. Like, what am I doing? Doing all these yucky things with you. We have the relationship that we do, and I'm not your boyfriend. It was fucking ridiculous to me. So I was ready to walk away. Then a few days passed. We're kind of not really talking, and even her herself. One day I was just kind of so down bad. I'm like, oh fuck, like I miss you, blah blah. Blah. And she's like, I think we shouldn't talk for a while. And I'm like, when she said that, that's when I was really butthurt. That's when it actually kicked in, and when I got sad, for real.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, no, 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 please, no, come back, baby, come back. Yeah. And she's like, no, you're right. Like, we shouldn't really do this kind of thing. Like, just, she was telling me to go away. And I'm like, fuck, no. And probably, I don't even remember the exact time frame, but not long after this whole debacle of me being depresso espresso, we were back.
Yeah. As if nothing happened.
Yep. Because honestly, like, I don't know, guys. I don't know how else to explain it other than our relationship is just, our connection is just too, it's too much to ignore. It's too
Yeah.
much. And although that felt like a breakup, although she was in tears, I had to come around that night to the other side of the car and like tell her to get up out of the car and like, let's hug, like, it's okay, even though I was being told no. Yeah, it was
Well,
weird.
because it was a sucky situation because at that point it's like, okay, this was like the real deal compared to the first time that he confessed his love for me. This was definitely more of like, we've done all this shit. This is definitely us dating, and I can't really do much because I am in a relationship and I'm not ready to get out of that. But then it was like, now I'm scared that this is going to change what we have, or like this was going to be it for us. So that's why I kind of got so sad because I was scared that, like, oh shit, like this might ruin everything.
Yep.
Because now we've done so much, but this is kind of putting an end to all of it. So who knows how things are going to happen between us, or what exactly is going to
Yeah.
happen.
Um. Oh, actually, during those days where I was like depresso espresso, my mom noticed that I was like super visibly just distraught. She was like, "Yo, what the fuck? Like, what's going on?" And then that's when I like really just broke down in tears in her arms. She's like, "I'm like, she said no," and she's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I'm like, "DNA." Like, she said no, and she's like, "Ah, relax, just relax. If it's meant to be, it'll be." And honestly, as of right now, she told me to just cut you off,
Yeah.
and not in a malicious way. Not saying like, "Oh, fuck her" kind of thing. She said, "Let her see what she's missing. Cut her off, and you will see her running back right to your freaking feet, bowing down to you, basically." And I'm like, no, like, because at this point, I was maybe like a month or two out from going to basic training. So I'm like, I don't want to just cut you off and then end on a sour note like that and then potentially never talk again. So that's why I say I have put my foot down and I was back to it. Like a few days later, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go out on a high note and just go off to basic with a good relationship. I didn't want to end on a sour note. So I was like, fuck it. I'm going to put this behind me. Let's just keep doing our thing. So we kept hanging out. We kept talking like nothing had happened.
Yep.
And yet my intention was, or that's kind of what I was saving basic training for. So I'm like, I agree with my mom. Like, yeah, I should stop talking to her, but I don't want to go out on a sour note. So I'm like, what about this? We go out on top, and then basic training, just no contact whatsoever, because obviously I'm in BMT. I can't talk to you unless I'm sending you a letter.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I mean, we sent letters, but I wasn't saying anything crazy like, "Oh my god, I miss
No, it
you."
was more of just like we're still keeping in touch. It was
Yeah,
like, us just having a conversation on Snapchat. It was the same thing. Wasn't anything crazy because at that point, it's like obviously we had put somewhat of an end to the whole intimacy thing.
yeah,
So with him be gone, it wasn't like we were gonna be sending nucky stuff over letters.
yeah,
And that was just also kind of like that little boundary was there.
yeah.
But
Saying bye was hard.
yeah, that wasn't fun.
Yeah, because there was so much unsaid in that goodbye.
Yeah, there was that moment. It's just it sucked because we did get to the point that we were at so close to him leaving. It's like maybe if we didn't get all yucky before, then things would have been different. But like now we had reached that level. Now we're basically connected. Like we are each other's person at this point, but
Yeah,
there are boundaries that had to be set. I was in my relationship, he was leaving, and we were just things were kind of up in the air. Like we didn't know where things were going to go, but now he has to leave.
yeah,
And there's a whole period of time where we can't necessarily talk, and nothing was really said about what was going to happen in the future. It was literally just like us hanging out or whatever, and then we said bye.
yeah. That was a fun morning. I woke up, so I had a goodbye party with friends and family the night before. I was absolutely blasted out of my mind, but I had to be up early because we agreed to go watch the sunset.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I was blasted out of my mind, so I wasn't exactly driving sober. I went to go pick her up. We went to the beach to watch the sunrise, and then we got blasted on the beach. I brought
At
this,
6 in the morning.
yeah, I brought this big ass. I saved a big ass bottle of Malibu and like a couple of Trulies or whatever in a backpack from the family friends party the night before.
Yeah.
And yeah, we got messed up on the beach. We took a nap on the beach on one of those beach chairs together, and
Yeah,
we
somehow
actually like fully
we
passed out.
knocked out.
We passed the fuck out. And then there was this old man, this sweet old man who like tapped us on the shoulder. He's like, "Hey, you guys okay? Like, you guys are dead asleep." And we're like, "Oh fuck, it's time to go."
Yeah, he was concerned that I was gonna burn. That's why
Yeah,
he woke me up.
yeah.
But yeah, that
We
was a
made a
fun
little,
morning.
we made a little run to Dunkin'.
Of
Got her some
course.
big ass, large coffee
We
cups.
were so drunk though. We were convinced that there was something wrong with the coffee. We
Oh, no, so the conclusion I came to with that, right? So we got back to her parents' house, and like we were coming down from being drunk. But
yeah.
then obviously Dunkin'
The
coffee has
coffee did not.
so much sugar and it's also coffee. So now we're cracked up and we're in this kind of state where like hysterical because we're so tired but like also so energetic.
Yeah.
So it was almost like literally being high
Mm-hmm.
on weed except without
We
the weed.
weren't. Yeah.
So
We were in a weird
we
state
were
of
in the
mind.
living room just laughing our asses off, but like laughing so hard we weren't making any noise.
It was so funny.
And
My
then
mom thought we were crazy.
yeah, her parents come down and they're watching us and they're like, "What the fuck is wrong with you guys? What are you doing?" And we're like, "We don't know."
Well, because like I didn't tell them we had drank. Obviously, I was
Yeah,
gonna tell them that. Um, so we're just like, it's the coffee. That's we're tired. The coffee is making us stupid. We need to go to sleep.
yeah. And then we took a nap in her bed.
Yeah.
Um, and then yeah, eventually, we're hanging out and it got to that point like 3 o'clock. I'm like, I gotta go. 3 o'clock. That's a hard time. And yeah, it got to like 2:30, and that just wasn't nearly enough time to say bye because, like I said, there was so much left unsaid. We wanted to say
Mm-hmm.
so much more, but we had to make it quick. And yeah, that was painful.
Yep.
I knew what
Not
she wanted to
fun.
say, but she just couldn't say it.
Yeah.
She wanted to say that she loved me and whatever.
I
I,
didn't.
I was sat there looking at you like on your bed, like because we're facing each other on the bed, kind of, and she's bawling her fucking eyes out, and I'm like waiting for you to say it, but you just never said it. So I'm like, all right, I'm out.
Yep. I also just like I knew I wasn't getting out of my relationship soon. So as much as I wanted to say what I wanted to say, like I couldn't. And also I was freaking bawling my eyes out. I physically could not get myself to speak because of how
Yeah,
hard I was crying.
yeah. Aside from not wanting or not being,
That was also a big portion as to
she just
why I
couldn't
couldn't
talk at
talk.
all.
Because
Yeah,
it was a kind of crying where it's like like I couldn't speak.
yeah,
So that was also why I just didn't talk or not much was said.
yeah.
But um yeah, off to basic he went.
Mm-hmm.
And like we said, we sent letters back and forth. But during this time, I'm doing my thing. I'm being stupid because he was the only person that really kept me in check when it came to anything. And I was kind of losing my marbles. So all that whole summer was me just like always going out. I'm doing these things with friends. We're being stupid. It was fun, but from the outside, I looked really dumb and shouldn't have done a lot of things. But during this time was kind of where I noticed like, damn, I really need him.
Yep, that's exactly the point my mom was trying to say. She said, "Cut you the fuck off, kick you to the curb,
Cause
and
it's
you'll
like
know."
we talk every day from the first conversation that we started talking again. We we've done things with each other now at this point, so that connected us even more. And we have this special and strong connection. So being away that long and not talking really affected me in a way and just made me realize like I mean I've known like I knew the whole time that like yes I he's the one that I wanted to be with, but things were rough and I couldn't figure out how to get out of my relationship. But being in BMT, that just made things even more clear for myself. And I was like, yeah, I gotta figure something out because I want to be with him. And obviously, this is what's meant to happen.
Yep. Yeah. So eventually, I got out of the BMT, arrived at Shepherd, my tech school, and shit just kind of like
It was a bumpy
it
road.
was turbulent as fuck. Yeah.
It
I mean, it
was.
started out good, but then
It's essentially how our long distance went
yeah, I
once we
guess it's
started
kind of
dating.
like a microcosm of how our dating relationship went.
Yeah, because no, we're not dating, but we have our thing. It's clear. We like I said, the connection's there because of all the things we've done. I did not want this man to be with anybody. And knowing how, there's a whole stereotype around military men. So with him going to Shepherd, I was freaking scared out of my mind because people are stupid. And that's just like the time that, shit's happening with people. So I was just like, no, I want you to stay for myself.
Yeah.
So it was toxic in a way because
Yeah.
I did not want him to be with anybody, but
And
I was doing my thing.
yeah,
But I didn't want him
she
with
was trying to keep
anybody.
me to herself while being crazy. And I wasn't being rebellious against him, being like, oh, fuck you, I'm going to do all this craziness as well. I was literally like, I kept having to check her and be like, yo, stop playing this fucking game that you're not going to win. Because she's trying to keep me to herself, and yet I don't, like, she gets to do all of this. Like, what? Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a lot of those rebellious moments. Um, we went from because I would go to my class. On the way to class, I'm texting her, "Hey, good morning. I hope you have a good day. Blah blah. I'll see you. I'll call you later at lunch." On my lunch break, I'd call her, give her an update of how my day is going. Like, bro, this is a relationship. We
Yeah, we
got
were
back
on
to our
FaceTime
normal
every day.
bullshit. Yeah, FaceTime every day.
I'd help him study.
Yep, help me study for all my EOCs. Fucking was talking with her family. Like, dude, we were in a. This was a relationship, and then I got frustrated and she was like it was bullshit everywhere, I got really frustrated about this not being a relationship. So I'm like, ugh. I tried to be a little bit distant, but then she took the distance as, well, fuck me then. So she went to do her craziness. And I'm like, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was just a lot of playing games and like not being on the same page. And her just like, because there was a lot of moments, right? I said we're on FaceTime a lot. There's a lot of moments where she's hanging out with friends as well. And this would also happen with family. And they're like, oh, is that Felipe? Like, is that the boy? Like, everybody knew. Friends and family, everybody knew.
Yeah.
And like, it was so clear to everyone. And yet now she's at this point where because she doesn't trust me since I'm in the military and like she's trying to play games.
Yeah, I had trust issues with him, with not even him being mine.
Yeah. Like, it was just fucked from the beginning. So everybody's like, ooh, ooh, is Felipe on the phone? Ah, ha, ha. And then she'd be like, no, it's not even like that. Like, she's just trying to downplay. Like, oh, no, he's just a friend. Or like, I remember the one time you were with your friends and you guys were drinking, having your little party. And then they're like, oh, why don't you just get with him? He's like, and she was just like, no, God, no. Like, why would you even say that? And at that point, I'm like, oh, come on. No, God, no. Like, why would you? Weren't we just before I left? Okay. Yeah. Like, she was just being so stupid. I mean, I don't know, man. That whole time was so exhausting. Like, I was having fun because I'm with the boys. I was with my boys out of basic training. We were playing lots of basketball. Oh, that was fun. I miss playing basketball with them. Um, also watching the NBA finals. That was cool. Lots of what's the one? Pool.
Pool?
Yeah. Yeah, no. Shepard was fun, but it was turbulent because there was so much drama with her, and I hated how like push and pull she was with me. So annoying. Oh my god. Um, there was when was it? It was around your birthday, right?
Halloween.
Yeah, it was Halloween where we just didn't really talk for a few days because she was on some bullshit. She put me.
He ratted me out.
She put me. I didn't fully rat you out.
Well, you still decided to say something.
She put me in this bullshit scenario, right? She's playing games with me, and now she puts me in this position where she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna."
It was a just in case situation. It wasn't like it was gonna happen. I just thought you would have my back.
I had your back, kind of, but you also did not have my back whatsoever. So fuck me, fuck you too.
What do you mean have your back?
Well, not have my back as in like you ratted me out kind of thing. Our relationship was just like a no trust kind of bullshit. You didn't trust me, so why not just play into that kind of thing? I I was trying to give you a reason to just like go away since you were playing so many games. With this, I was really trying to be like, you know what? Let's just see how this goes. So here's how it went.
This is where shit went down.
Yeah, Halloween
this
comes
was
around.
Our biggest hump in our relationship.
Yeah, she goes, hey, so I told my parents that I'm gonna be going with my friends and we're gonna have a sleepover and whatever. But in reality, she was going to be with her boyfriend at the time and doing all kinds of nasty shit just all night long. And mind you, we're in a pretty good spot, Good morning text.
But this is
lunch call.
This is why I thought I could trust him to have my back in this situation.
Yeah. But no. Because you're playing games with me. We were in a relationship and yet you treated me openly, not just to me, but openly to your friends and family. You were just downplaying me. And you didn't show me any kind of respect to who I really was in your life. And that shit pissed me off. Because how the fuck are we going to go from our relationship being here and we both know it, and now to just like the world, you're just going to be like, nah, fuck that guy. He really isn't shit. He's just kind of there to me. That shit bothered me.
You knew I was just saying that because I was in a relationship, not because I actually meant it.
Well, yeah, but now I look like a fucking idiot in front of your friends and family.
No.
That shit really bothered me. And also, you're asking me to lie to your parents who I have such a good relationship with.
No, I didn't ask you to lie. I just said just in case if they ask, which I didn't think they were. I knew they weren't going to. because that's never been an issue where I'm like out with my friends that I have sleepovers with all the time. That they were gonna ask him where I was, but I just said, "Hey, just in case she texts you and asks where I am, I'm at her house tonight. I'm at my friend's house tonight." When I was
Well,
actually staying at my boyfriend's house
right.
at the
So
time.
to your mom, I wouldn't have been lying to her. I would have just been confirming what you told her. But to
Yeah.
me, I'm lying to her because I know what's going on. So I still technically did lie to her. So I gave you that much. I didn't tell your mom that you were at your boyfriend's house and
No, but
so and so
you
was
still got
happening.
me in trouble because you still said another lie.
It wasn't really a lie because it was true. It just didn't happen that day.
You still decided to get me in trouble.
Yeah. So she was playing games with me. So I said, well, fuck you. I'm going to play games too. Two can play at that game. So I told her mom this is something that, again, happened days before. She was hanging out with her friends. They were drinking. She went way over the line. Like she was blasted drunk. And I'm on the phone. I'm like, hey, chill out. Hey, chill out. And then she's like, no, no, no. Like being stupid, right? So I took the anger that I had that night and took it out on this night. So your mom asked me, like you didn't think she would. She's like, hey, Vina hasn't responded in a while. Like, do you know where she's at? I was just like, perfect timing. I just so happened to be pissed at her because she's doing all these, she's drinking so much and being stupid. She's like, what? What do you mean? I thought that she was just at a friend's house and they were just doing like, not stupid things. I'm like, no, no, no. She's being stupid. You need to go, like, she needs help kind of thing. So
Yeah, freaking convincing her that I'm an alcoholic over here. My mom about put me on a freaking.
are you gonna act like you didn't drink way too much all the time?
Everybody drinks way too much in high school. What do you mean?
Well, then every high schooler is an alcoholic. Let's just establish that because we all know
Oh
what
my
we did in high
goodness.
school.
I got put on a ban basically.
Yeah,
There wasn't allowed to drink.
yeah. After that, she got grounded like no time I've seen before. She was at home, fucking do whatever you got to do, come home, do nothing else. And at this point, we didn't talk for a few days because she had her trust issues now. She's like, oh, I
Uh,
can't trust you with shit.
yeah, screw him.
Screw you for putting me in that scenario and for playing with my heart.
No, you're fine. Boo hoo. Cry about it.
See, and that's the kind of shit that I was talking about. Like she was so insensitive to me in as the person that she knows who I am in her life. She just threw it all out the window because she wanted to play games and because she had trust issues with me. And now this just amplified her trust issues. But in all reality, I didn't see anything I did as wrong. Because if I really, really wanted to, I could have shut you down.
Yeah, I know.
I could have shut you down. So if anything, I gave you a merciful warning of do not fuck with me.
That was really testing it because I would I almost cut you off so quick.
I would have been fine with that.
I almost said goodbye to everything, and I did not care at all.
Yeah, but you wanted to play games, so you better be warned.
You could have played other in another way. Why you got to go that route?
You went a horrible route.
That wasn't that bad. That was me coming to my best friend to have my back.
Sure. I was at no point was I ever your best. I was literally probably from the start of hanging out on Black Friday, I was basically your boyfriend, just without the title. And you always loved to downplay it. And eventually I just had enough.
Whatever.
I had enough of it, and I took my opportunity to give you a firm warning of stop fucking with my heart or we're done. And yeah, a few days passed, we didn't talk. Eventually we talked it over, sorted things out. I let her know, like, hey man, like, don't fucking do that. Because for one, respect me for who we both know I am in your life. Two, don't put me in a scenario where I gotta lie to your parents, the parents that I have such a good relationship with, that I spent so much time cultivating that good relationship with. I don't want to risk fucking that up over your bullshit with your little boyfriend at the time. Fuck that. I have bigger goals in mind. So yeah, eventually we hashed it out. And then from there, it was pretty good to my recollection. I mean, you were still kind of playing games
It
here and
was
there.
it was iffy because I still didn't trust you on what you were doing.
Yeah, no, like it was good, but there was this underlying tone of just like we're kind of walking on eggshells around each other. So we were playing games, and yeah, eventually, eventually things cooled down because that was end of October, and then I didn't end up coming back from I didn't end up coming back home until the holidays, like Christmas time frame. So a
Yep.
whole month, a little over a month and a half passed by, and it was ups and downs, and then eventually it settled. And yeah,
Then came the big moment.
yep. Then came the big moment where I told myself this was the official foot stomping. I know before I put it down halfway because I was just like,
Put his toes down. That's about
yeah,
it.
basically. But this time it was like the full foot stomp for myself. I'm like, I'm coming home and I'm gonna make the final push to get her. And if in the end she doesn't want to come with me, so be it. So be it. So yeah, I get home. That first night I hung out with one of my homeboys, had a good night, and then the next day I planned to hang out with her, and that we did. We went to go watch the stars,
Oh
stargazing.
God, yeah. Mhm.
Yep,
Mhm.
that that one was funny to
That
me.
was a tough night.
Yeah, that was a funny one. Um, so now I'm back to right. I'm on my mission. I'm gonna get her, but I'm back to my shit of boundaries. Boundaries. Always boundaries.
If anything, I'm the one who set the boundary that night because you tried.
I tried, but at the same time I wasn't because like I kept getting close, but I wasn't letting myself really go for it because I'm just like I don't want to like I want to, but I don't want to. Like you know.
Mhm. Still had yourself pushed up against me, trying to make out with me.
Okay, well let's not make it sound rapey. I wasn't trying, and you
No,
were
I'm not
like,
saying
no, no,
like that.
no.
It just we're in the middle of the freaking Everglades. First of all, in pitch black by
Yeah,
ourselves. We had fun. We're stargazing. We're doing our thing,
yeah.
and then
Eventually, we were standing up against the side of my car, and like I kind of did one of those things where you got your hand up on the car, and then you're like leaning over her, and that's kind of where we had this moment of like,
we just kind of stared at each other.
like yeah, we were like, what's the word? I don't know. We were just staring into each other's souls, kind of thing, and like it was this like,
We didn't know whether to kiss or not.
yeah,
I don't know about you, but I was very hesitant because at this point I was like, eh, I don't know. Considering how we left off, it's like I don't want to continue to lead this on. I want to, like, obviously, duh, why not?
full transparency. Our camera died.
Yeah.
So we took a little break. We woke up Scott from his nap, had some dinner, put the camera charged, and now we're back. As she was saying, after we did a, what do you call it?
Intermission.
She said I was gonna make a sports reference, like
Oh.
an instant replay. Yeah, we did an instant replay of
Oh.
the last thing we were talking about. Um, yeah, so we're out there stargazing. Like I said, I put my hand up on the car. Kind of one of those like stare into
Just
each other's soul kind of thing.
yeah.
Like she said, she was hesitant because it was like, do I want to do it? Do I not want to do it? And then I was also like, we were both having that moment in our heads while staring at each other. So there was just huge, huge sexual tension, like ungodly amount of sexual tension. We were both like wanting to do it, but we didn't want to, and we weren't.
I mean,
Like
yeah, because
we
I was
didn't
ready to get
know.
in the back seat, but at the same time,
Yeah, we didn't know where the other person was at because, like we mentioned, at Shepherd, so many things had gone down as far as trust issues, playing games with each other, and just oh God, it was so many arrays of so many arrays. It was a wide range of emotion for the past what
October.
September, October, November, and now December. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 months of just emotional torment of pull and push and pull, who knows what's gonna happen kind of thing.
Yeah. And I mean, we never really had like an official talk at that point. It was kind of just like going day by day. Whatever happens, happens. So
Yeah.
once he was back home, it was like, okay, what do we do now? Like, do we continue? Do we not?
Or
Where do
well,
we stand?
that's where she was at. In my mind, like I said,
Oh
I
well,
had
yeah.
I had my intention of it's now or never. So that first night we're watching the stars and stuff. I didn't want to. I really, really wanted to, like, as far as lust goes, but I didn't actually want to do anything. I wanted to make it, like, set those boundaries once again and just have a good time hanging out again. What was that? What day was that? Well,
God, I
I
don't know.
got
That
back.
was a
Oh no,
random
I got
day.
back December 18th, so that was the 19th. I don't think we saw each other again until the 24th, right?
I don't know. I know we hung out a few times.
We hung out a few times. No, I guess we did go shopping. It was a shopping day. We went to the mall.
Yeah. We went to
Um,
the mall and had sushi.
yeah, we went to the mall. We had sushi. I'm pretty sure we did another breakfast or yeah, breakfast. Yeah, we went to First Watch again.
Oh, yes, we did. Hmm.
Yeah. Um, yeah, we just did a couple casual hangouts. Doing the hangout.
But it was still like I have pictures on Snap of
Oh, that's where we took some of our most iconic, like, beginning of the relationship type pictures.
like I have a lot of pictures of us in the car. We're holding hands. I have
Hmm.
pictures of him laying on me because he was sleeping. Like
Oh my god. Oh wait, no, that was
what?
after. So, yeah, no, like you were saying, we were.
I have all these pictures, and if you see them, yeah, we look like we're dating.
Yeah, so when we went to the mall, when we went to First Watch, those were days where, we were just hanging out all day long. And it was, like you said, a lot of the hand holding, a lot of just like leaning on each other kind of stuff, a lot of pictures where it's like we look really attractive together and like, it's all the
It
signs are
was
there.
meant to happen.
And then there was, uh, I'm pretty sure this was Christmas Eve,
What?
the 24th.
Well, that's what the 24th is.
Yeah, when I went to go see the Christmas lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then came the 24th. I was at her house. Um, I mean, it was her mom's birthday is the 24th, so I was there for that reason. And then we decided, honestly, I low key had like a 20% intention to actually go see Christmas lights because I don't think I've ever actually gone out into any neighborhood to actually look at Christmas lights.
You've never done that?
Not that I can recall in recent years.
Oh,
Because you always set
weird.
up your decorations, and it's like you look at whatever's in your neighborhood, like or within like eyes view.
Well, my family has always done that. We've always driven around.
Oh well, that's what I'm saying. Like I actually had some intention to drive around and try to find actual
But
houses with real
that
lights.
wasn't your main intention.
No, it was not. But it was part. It was like a second little intention because I realized on that night I'm like, hey, I actually haven't. I've never actually taken the time to go drive around.
So then what were your true intentions?
No, my true intentions was to make some shit happen that night. A Christmas miracle, as they call it.
Alrighty.
So, as we mentioned earlier, we have a spot out in Southwest Ranches. At the time, the house was under construction. It might be
That house is
done.
definitely built. I hope it's built.
The house is definitely built by now, hopefully. And
Yep, that was our
yeah,
spot.
we were driving around. We actually, for a little bit, we were doing the Christmas lights thing, and then I started driving off in that direction.
Yeah.
And I had intentions to go to just go straight to that house and make some shit happen. So we got there, and it's not like it happened straight after date, you know. We got there and we actually, because the previous time we were there, we literally just did whatever we did and then we left.
Yeah.
This time we actually got out the car and we were like, last time we didn't actually get to look around.
Oh.
We were too busy being disgusting.
Yeah, we did explore a bit.
Yeah, we walked around the property. We didn't go in the house because I don't think there was any way of getting in.
No, we just kind of wandered
it was
outside.
all, like, boarded off.
Technically, we're still trespassing, so.
Yeah, we were just walking around the outside of the property. And then, because you have one video on Snapchat of me.
I do. I was going through it the other day. There are so many Snapchat memories on there that are just like funny to look at and think about like how things were at that time. But yeah. I have a few stuff from that night.
Anyways, we got back in the car, and then I just had to lay it out. Like this was the foot stomp, and I'm like, hey, like, I'm not honestly. I'm gonna make up part of this conversation and just like get to what actually happened. Like I was making it clear, like, hey, I'm not here to just fuck around. Like, I'm here to make this happen. And
you said sorry.
I remember what if you remember what I said.
I'm pretty sure you parked once we got back in the car. You looked at me and asked what I wanted.
Oh yeah. Okay, no, you're right. Yes. So we got back in the car after walking around the property, and I was like, "What do you want?" Or I either asked that, or I was like, "Okay,
this
so
is about to go into some friggin' what are they called? Oh, I can't think of the word. What are those fantasy websites?
Like a fanfic?
Is that what it is?
So.
Yeah.
Well,
somebody can pull this and make this a story.
This is not fanfic whatsoever.
This is what happened, but it's gonna sound very story-like.
We got back in the car and I was ready to lay down the law. Basically, I was like, "Hey, like, what are we doing? What do you want?" And she's like, "Well, I'm kind of in a relationship right now, and like we both, I don't know. Well, all I know is that you said, "Well, I'm still in a relationship now, but."
No, I don't even think I said that, because I'm pretty sure. I don't want to go into too much detail because it sounds so dirty.
We need to lay it out how it happened.
I'm trying to remember if this is even how it happened, but I'm pretty sure it is. But you looked at me and you asked what I wanted, and I'm pretty sure I said you.
Nope, that was in reverse order.
What do you mean?
No, because I remember. Okay, so it happened that I said
there was a point where you grabbed me.
Yes. That's what I'm trying to get at. But that only happens because I responded, you. So what happened is you asked me, or I asked you, all right, so what are we doing? Or like, what do you want? No, I said, what are we doing? And then you're like, well, we're just hanging out or whatever.
Like, oh yeah, because then you were like, stop playing, something like that.
And I'm like, come on, stop playing these games. Like, I'm not doing this shit anymore. What do you want? And she's like, well, I'm kind of. She was like hesitant to answer, and then she was like, "Okay, but like, what do you want? Like, why are you pressing me?" kind of thing. And I'm like, straight up, I was like, "I want you. I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I'm not playing."
That was enough for me.
Yeah, I'm not doing the games.
Pants were off.
Basically, like I made it clear. I'm like, I want you. I'm not playing this bullshit no more. You cannot keep, playing what's the one?
The puppet?
Yeah, I guess you can't keep playing Puppet Master with my heart. It's not fucking fair. And then she did this kind of like kind of look away kind of thing. And that's what you're talking about.
You grabbed me.
You were just kind of, because you were like I don't know kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I grabbed her like the other side of her face, her right side of her.
Yeah, you basically just like grabbed my chin. Pull me back.
I grabbed her and then I turned her back my way, and I'm like, I'm not doing this shit no more. And then I just pulled her in for a kiss, and it went from there. We went into the back seat, and that's where the first time we did the deed, and I lost my virginity. Yeah, and let's not get it twisted. I lost my virginity. I rocked her fucking world.
Alrighty.
To say it in the nicest way possible,
Alrighty.
I rocked
my head into the damn door.
Yeah. Basically, we were a bit closer.
We're in a freaking Chevy Malibu, guys. Like, there wasn't much space in there.
Whoa. Chevy Malibus are actually
okay, they're
a spacious sedan. We just happened to
I
be
guess,
pressed up
but
against
still.
the door, and your head is No, there was plenty of space. It's just, with the thrusting, you kind of move in one direction, and then you end up smashing your head into the door every other second.
Yep. I was looking at the moon the whole time.
You were looking at the moon the whole time?
Yeah, I could see it because my head's up. I'm looking at the freaking the window. I was like, the moon was there. It was a nice moment.
It was a nice moment. So you looked at the moon.
Well, it was right there. It was like right in the window, shining right on top of me.
Yeah. Well.
But yeah, that was the first time.
Yep, that was the first time. It was a good time, to say the least.
Obviously, things were done before that, but this was the main moment of it actually happening.
We had made out before. She ate my wiener. I don't know how else to say that. I mean, I alluded to it earlier. Oral sexual things happened, but we had never actually done it. Yeah. And this was that time. It went well, and that for me was kind of like lock and seal. Is that lock and
I think it's just locked in.
Key.
Oh,
right.
I've never heard that.
That's the phrase. Lock and key. It locked it in. It locked it in essentially, because that for me was like, because I guess at the time, more so, we were a bit more freak leaks. Not that we can't get weird now. It's just at the time, there was a lot more like, I don't know how to explain
it. I mean, it's like, it's fresh.
Yeah, there was a lot more of that new, fresh, like,
it's like you just
really doing this kind of
energy. It's like really any other couple who's like, you start doing it in the beginning, and like any free time that you get alone, that's all you want to do. Yeah, that's essentially what it was.
Yeah, it was that like new freak energy. So like throughout, every now and then, I was kind of like talking my shit to her, and then she was talking shit back, and throughout that shit talking, we were both kind of confirming to each other like, yeah, this is it. And yet, mind you, she's still in a relationship at this very moment.
I'm so glad you have to make that clear.
Not single. But as far as I'm concerned, this was really the beginning of our relationship unofficially. Because yeah, I'm pretty sure like the next day the relationship was over.
The 26th was over.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember you always talk about how, the next morning, or wait, no, not even. Oh my God, that's so funny. So on Christmas Eve, your ex was at your house, and then later that day, I was at the house also, and then we did the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. And then yeah, of course, the 24th happened. We did the thing. The 25th happened. Yay, Christmas. The 26th, they were done.
When was? No. When was that? The 24th or 25th? When you were at the house and we did it at the house.
Yeah, that's.
Is that what you were thinking of?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about earlier. I don't think it was the 25th. Although it might have been. We would have to go back to our Snapchat.
I don't remember. That was it was definitely somewhere in that period. One of one of those days. I have the snap memories because I recorded something funny.
You did record something funny. I remember that.
It
I
was
might hear.
no, it was before that. Was it not these ones? What the heck is that?
I'm pretty sure it was this. Oh, wait.
No, because remember?
What's the day on this? What's the date? 27th. Ooh.
Nope.
Maybe. Maybe?
No, it wasn't that day. It was somewhere.
It was this day. I
Yes.
had this shirt on.
Yes, it was that day.
The 23rd.
Oh, we were wrong.
Wait, man. Wait, this kind of rewrites the whole everything.
Yeah, there's dates are
Oh.
kind of blurry there.
Oh, wait.
But there was a night.
Here's when it happened the first time.
That was the first time.
Huh?
Wait, no, the times here are our times. So go back. Cuz Snapchat gives it local time. So that's Europe time. So go back 6 hours.
Okay, so we did it for the first time on December 22nd.
Mhm.
So, okay, I got back.
Yeah, no, we definitely didn't do it on 24th cuz we were out for my mom's birthday.
That is true.
There was no
Oh,
time
wait, 'cause we
for
had that one dinner.
we went out to yeah, we
And
all went
then
out.
in that dinner, I made it clear to everybody sitting at that
Oh
table
my
by
fucking
putting
god.
my arm around you the entire dinner.
Yeah. Honestly, I really liked
Yeah,
it.
that was strategically planned. I told myself before dinner, I'm like, we're gonna sit next to each other, and then I gotta put my arm around so that everybody here at the table, her family, my family, everybody knows what's going on.
They also paid for our dinner.
Oh, well, that wasn't planned. My mom just
No, I
like,
know, but
yeah,
they still paid for
yeah.
our
My
dinner.
mom, out of her own kindness, she ended up paying for the entire table. So thank you, mommy. That was really cool. But yeah, that whole dinner, no bullshit. I ate with one hand. I did not leave my arm off of her chair. Literally, like if you're watching this on YouTube, just the way I am right now, I'm around her the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did it for the first time for 20 seconds. So then that means I got back to 18. Hung out with Julian that night.
Honestly,
And
all the things that happened during that time are kind of blurry when it comes to
the
dates.
19th, we went stargazing. So then the 20th, I think that was a day for the boys. Yeah. And then the 21st, we went shopping. The 22nd,
I have the snap of every time that we hung out, so I have dates.
yeah. But I'm pretty sure I have it right.
I don't know. But
Anyway,
anyways.
Jake said first.
Okay.
Yeah, we did it for the first time the 22nd. Then, this was, yeah, the 23rd. I went back to her house.
Hmm. My parents were out somewhere. I don't know where
Yeah,
they were, but nobody was home. It was just me.
yeah. So the 23rd is my sister's birthday. So we had the whole day to do her birthday. And then towards the end of the night, her parents were out probably at
I
some of
don't
your
know.
family's house. I don't know. Maybe
Maybe.
your grandpa's house.
Possibly. Or a
Yeah,
friend's
they were
house. I don't
probably at her
know.
grandpa's house. And then we both were texting each other, and she was like, "Oh, why don't you come over? I'm just here with the siblings, like her brother and sister." And then I was like, I don't really have much else to do. My sister's birthday's over, so may as well. Before then, though, I texted her mom. I'm like, "Hey, do you think it's cool if I come over to your guys' house and just hang out with BNA while she's alone with the kids?" And her mom was like, "We don't typically we're not typically approving of something like this, but we trust you. You're a good guy, and we're gonna let this happen one time." And I remember her in her text message specifically saying,
No
"No
funny
funny
business.
business, no funny business." And I was like, "Oh yeah, yes, ma'am." And I had every intention of going by that. But things happen. We ended up, you know,
Breaking my bed.
yep, we broke her bed. No bullshit. I think was it one of the
Was it the
feet?
board or the
No, it was the back. It
something?
was the headboard. Something back there snapped.
Oh. It wasn't even like we were going too crazy, guys, either. My bed was, I don't know.
Well, yeah, your bed was a very small, flimsy bed.
Yeah,
That's one of those like little things you get off IKEA or some bullshit bed.
I did get it at IKEA.
Yeah, it was some small little bed frame. The thing was literally like half an inch off the ground.
Yeah, it was
There
more
wasn't
of
much to
a
it.
I asked for it specifically. It was more of like a modern, low to the ground type
Mhm.
of bed. But yeah, it wasn't the most sturdy. So we broke it.
Yeah, we broke it just a little bit. And yeah, I'm sorry, mommy, if you are listening. I know I told you no funny business, but funny business did occur.
They knew. It's okay.
um, yeah. So now that's twice
Hmm. Hmm.
before your mom's birthday, I guess, and
Yeah.
before your relationship even ended. So yeah, twice while she's still in a
Hmm.
relationship, and then yeah, I don't think we saw each other for those few days, honestly, other than your mom's birthday. Christmas Day happened, or actually, I think we did a gift exchange, right?
Yeah, all of you guys came over Christmas night, but nothing happened that night. You guys were just at the
Yeah,
house.
my mom, my sister, and I we went over there. We did a little gift exchange, and then the 26th, I don't think we hung out that day. You ended your relationship, and then I don't really
Hmm.
remember. Or the 27th, I just kind of did my rounds of saying goodbye to like the world, basically.
Yeah.
Family, friends, all of the above. Going to people's houses, hanging out, saying goodbye,
Hmm.
you included.
Hmm.
Yep. And we were kind of having that same moment from before I left for BMT, where like there was a lot of things on our heart, but not everything really came out.
Yeah.
But like I said, this was kind of it for me. But I wasn't going to sit there and be like, yo, is this happening or not? I was literally going to leave on her saying nothing. Like if she had said nothing to be mine, I probably would have just gone to Alaska and then slowly just faded out. Because like obviously we did everything we did. It would have just been so fucked up to just cut it off as soon as I get to Alaska.
Yeah.
So I would have slowly faded out the relationship. Um, yeah, she's walking me out to my car as we're saying bye, and I'm emotionally prepared for her to say nothing, and I was emotionally prepared to carry out the rest of the fading out process. But I'm about to get in my car, and as I'm about to like leave, she pulls me back, and she's like, "Hey, this is it. I'm yours." And that was kind of relieving, in a way, because I would have hated to carry out this slow fading process to just like leave your life. That would have hurt a lot because just after all the waiting and work that I did to like to the best of my ability keep a good quote unquote friendship and like do things the right way, it would have hurt so bad to just like leave on nothing, all of that to amount to nothing.
Yeah.
But luckily, right before I got in my car, she pulled me back one last time and she was like, "Hey, I'm yours." There it was, December 28th, 2020, official, officially official.
Yep. And from then on, we have other videos talking about how that all went, about our long distance journey and how things ended up after that when I moved and how that evolved into this
Yep,
where we're at now.
yep, yep. Ooh, I did. Brain fart. Um, I guess since that's our story, I know you said no ending questions. I had one written down, but I'm gonna change it at the last
Oh my
second.
goodness.
It's literally just one question. So my one ending question was going to be if you have any regrets. Now we've kind of answered that,
Yeah.
so that's why I'm now going to switch it up at the last second.
Oh, I thought that was a question. I'm like, I can easily answer that because we've already answered that before.
No, no, no. That was what I was going to ask because obviously there's a lot of things to potentially regret there, and even if we've answered that question before, maybe on any given day regret your
My
regret
regret?
your regret changes, but
No.
that's not the
That's
question.
honestly the easiest answer. It's the fact that things happen for a reason, and if none of that didn't happen, then this wouldn't have happened. So, because there are a lot of things where just if one thing did or didn't happen, the rest of the story wouldn't have been what it was. And I don't believe that if something different happened, that this would still be a thing.
Fair enough. So my new question is now going to be if you didn't if you didn't on that last day that I was leaving Florida again, like if you just let me go into my car and drive off without saying that you're officially mine and like this is happening for real,
Mm.
how would you how would you have felt or like what do you think would have been the future?
Mm. It's tough because I feel like it would just end up like Shepard even more now because now like you're kind of like Alaska was going to be your forever for a little while. Like now that's the start of you being gone for God knows how long.
Yeah.
So I don't think our relationship definitely would have, I think, stayed as far as like being close and like always talking. But as far as getting to a relationship, mm, I think I still would have followed in those steps, but you obviously would have cut it off. Because, I mean, it's hard to say because I guess it would all depend. Like, who knows when the next time would have been that you came to visit. But it's also tough because we didn't get together, then I would have been doing my own thing with what I had originally planned
Yeah.
and going into trainings and academy in freaking, I forget where it was, Georgia. So I also would have been gone. So that's kind of hard to tell because we would have been on two completely different sides and starting our careers. So who knows if we would have ended up back together because there was really no telling where I was going to be. I was fine with having to live in a different state by myself. Like that was a plan. I was already planning on that to be gone. So I don't know if we would have ended up together if we had just left things where they were and never made it official. Because I don't think I would have wanted to do long distance in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree, except for the fact that I would have just I would have just left. Because, like I said, if you had not, like, if I was getting in my car and driving off and you didn't give me any indication of this is happening, I would have just phased it out
I think,
over the next few months.
God, it's
Or
so
maybe
hard.
even the next few weeks, honestly.
Jeez.
Well, no, not a few weeks. It would have been too hard to do. That's what my initial answer was for first few months of Alaska. Because you know how I went to Alaska and then by March I was already back in Florida because I was homesick.
Because I told you to come. That was a last minute thing for comp in my senior.
Oh, wait,
That was my senior
the
competition.
homesick thing wasn't an excuse. Never mind. Or no, I made a homesick excuse. I
You said
made
somebody died.
Well, technically, somebody did die.
Yeah,
I
freaking
just
long time
acted like
ago.
I was closer to them than I really was, which God forgive me, because that's a really fucked up thing to do.
Yeah, those like first few months, probably the first 6 months that he was in Alaska, we just made so many excuses just to get him back home.
Yeah, I don't know. Alaska just really made me panic as far as because like you go from Florida, probably one of the most active states in all of the U.S. with Miami alone, and then I get to Alaska and it's just complete culture shock. Everything is slow, everything is relaxed, chill over there. I don't know anybody, like, and I'm starting this whole new life literally on my own. So I was just like all over the place mentally, and really, I just wanted to go home and like see my girlfriend, see my mom, see my sister, and also they just happened to be having, one of their competitions. So I was like, this is all the more reason to just go over there and see people. But if it, if it, I don't know, I probably would not have gone back that soon. I probably would have just stuck it out, whatever homesickness I was suffering through, or for the competition. I don't know. Yeah, those first few months, probably by March, we would not have been talking ever again anymore. Because, like you said, you would have gone on to your own career path, and
But I think that's why I'm like I'm kind of in the middle because I see it that way that we would have gone our own ways and there it really isn't time for us to be together. But I don't think emotionally that I would have been able to let you go.
maybe not you. I was fully prepared.
But with that being what it is, I think I would have wanted to try. Like I think I would have wanted to have a conversation like, "Hey, maybe we can figure something out."
I would have made it very hard on you if you came to me with that after the fact.
But it's the same thing as if I had said yes on the 28th. I'm still
No,
saying yes.
it wouldn't have been the same to me because I had every intention of getting a full confirmation as like before I was leaving for Alaska.
What was the
And
difference?
with all the things that we did, I was looking for that final yes before I left Alaska. And if you did not tell me yes, and then like 2 months later you're like, wait a minute, come back, I would have
Well,
been like,
I'm not
I'm
saying two
sorry.
months later because we would still be in contact just as much as we were before.
I don't know about just as much. Like I said, my plan was to phase it out. I would have
Well,
started. I would have
you're
started
a
missing.
douche then.
I'm a douche. I've done all this work just to get nothing out of it in the end.
Yeah, but you even said yourself that you weren't going to push it.
No, I wasn't going to push it, but take into account the year and a half of work that I put in of keeping my patients in the friend zone, putting in as much effort as I did to help you in your failing relationship, going to your house, helping you guys, like all the things that I did just for it to amount in nothing.
I
I would have been
mean, it
done.
would still end up in something, just not in that time frame.
Well, I wasn't looking for an extra time frame. My time
So
frame was
even there still being a possibility to get what you want, you would still cut it off.
yes.
Cuz you're still getting it. You're still
Well, when would you what like 6 months later, a year later? What are you trying to
no,
say?
it would be a lot sooner. So
Well, I
I
just said
said
two
2 months.
months.
No, it would be a lot sooner than that because obviously we would still be talking for a bit, and at some point a conversation would have to be had. Be like, hey,
So what, like a week after I got to Alaska?
I don't want to say a week.
2 weeks?
Definitely within the month, probably, because at that point there's not really a point in continue. Because say that like,
Well, no, then that would have just pissed me off. Because why didn't you talk about this? Why didn't you say this when I was leaving? Like, why do it within that month of me officially leaving for probably ever? Why do it after I leave instead of when I was there? When you could have done this
well,
face to face?
here's the thing. Because what if I did say yes and I still continue to go do what I wanted to do? It would have been the same thing. I'm still going to be gone. You're still going to be gone.
Well, no, because at least
Because at that point, I had no intention of giving all that up. I was still going to follow with what I wanted to do. So what if I still continue to do all that, but I had said yes? It would have been the same thing. I'm still going to be gone for just as long as I would have been, and you're stuck in Alaska.
yeah, sure. Even if you had
So then
said,
it's the same thing.
even if you had said 2 weeks later, maybe, yeah, let's do this. I was fully committed and just 100% disciplined to that harsh timeline. I did not care. At that point, I was either done or I was in, or you were in. Because I was there for December 20 or December 18th to December 27th. Those 9 days is what I was looking for. And if I did not get it, or if you did not give yourself to me or whatever, if you did not commit to me, I was disciplined. I had my full commitment to just cut it off. I did not care. Even if you were 24 hours
See,
late.
this is what I don't like about you.
What?
This is like the one thing that I don't like about you. Is that
What?
you
That I
can be a
have
douche
discipline?
sometimes. No, because there's certain things that you can be a douche in. Like that.
I'm sorry, but
Like you're so emotional, but at the same time you're not. Like you're the most emotional, emotionless person that there is. Like you're so quick to be so committed, but cut things off no matter what.
because I don't know what other word to use than discipline. It's just because
No, that's
the
douchey.
way I see it is I spent all this time and I had this harsh timeline for myself. And if it didn't work out, it didn't work out. It wasn't meant to be. If you had told me no or nothing when I was leaving Florida that second time,
Hmm.
because how do I do all that just to get nothing out of it?
It was meant to happen later.
I wasn't looking for later.
What if it wasn't meant to happen at that point?
If it wasn't meant to happen at that point, then obviously it wasn't meant to happen at that point. Oh well.
Hmm. Yeah, you're lucky I said yes.
I mean, I guess. I mean, you know me. I've always said, with or without, I think I'm fine. But I'm very, very happy and I'm grateful to have you by my side.
Mm-hmm.
We have a good thing, and I'm glad you were able to realize that. Because that's another one of those things, right? I spent so long trying to show you what what goodness can come of you just leaving a previous relationship. Because that's another thing. You really only broke up with your ex because you finally came to that realization when I got back from BMT that this was going to happen.
And
So, say we did what we did, but for some reason you just didn't break up and you didn't commit to me. What the fuck am I going to do hanging around? Or even if we did do what we did and then you broke up with him,
I was gonna end up breaking up with him regardless at that
okay,
point.
so if you end up breaking up with him, but then you don't commit yourself to me, it's like, well, obviously, that's what I was so willing to do. I've said this pretty much every other time we've explained the story, is that I would have rather given you time to just be you. If you had not committed yourself to me by the time I was leaving for Alaska, I would have just let you be you because I think you needed that.
But then that just goes against what you just said.
No, that goes for what I just said. I was willing to cut it off, and on the same coin, or on that same side of the coin, I can let you be you. That's what that is. I was gonna let you be you. Whether that amounted as being together or not, maybe potentially later in the future, It was relevant. The point I'm trying to make is I was willing to just let you be because I think I had done enough, I guess, pushing up to that point. I made my intentions clear. We did all the things that we did. Our relationship was what it was. If for some reason it amounted to nothing in that period of time, I mean, what? Am I really just going to be on your hook forever?
Oh no.
Exactly. So that's why I set this harsh line for myself. Because by that point, I had already committed a year and a half of my time and energy to making this happen. Just for it to come to nothing? No, I would have just been done. I cannot keep just waiting forever and ever and ever.
Why didn't you say forever, forever, and forever?
Forever, 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 forever. Well, a year and a half was enough time for me.
Okay.
Yeah. What do you know what the question? Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, that was too long of an answer. I think this needs to be wrapped up.
Yeah. How long has it been?
Over 2 hours.
Yeah. That's our more actually in-depth for real story this time, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. It's just a lot of twists and turns, a lot of just like, is this gonna happen? Is this not? Luckily, it did. We're both very, very happy in the marriage. Actually, the reason that we're telling this story for real this time is because this comes out Friday, so Saturday, Sunday, 4 days from now, 4 days from when you're hearing this or watching this, it will be our 2-year wedding anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
We will be in the Dolomites. Ooh, was I not supposed to spoil that? Too late now.
My goodness.
We will be taking a little road trip this weekend and can catch views. Take the stinky baby puppy along the little backpack that we bought for him. Be like Luke Skywalker carrying Yoda around.
Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm.
Big of a
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Very excited. Just gonna hang out in nature. Maybe hike a little bit. Or what we're doing even considered hiking, or are we just like happening to walk around in nature?
I don't know. There are no plans, and there will be no plans. We're just going with the flow.
Oh, that's surprising coming from you.
Well, because there isn't anything to do other than be in nature, so there are no plans to do.
Oh. Well, yeah.
We are in the middle of a mountain.
Yeah, once we started looking at this shit, we realized that like a lot of things become difficult because of the puppy. You might say, "Oh, just leave him behind." Fucking baby. Okay, he's like 12 weeks tomorrow. Nobody's gonna take him right
Yeah.
now. So
And again, we're in the middle of a mountain, so there is nothing to do other than mountain.
other than nothing.
Yep. So, yep, that's it.
Yeah. Feel free to maybe congratulate us on 2 years of marriage. Hopefully, we can make it another two, and maybe another two after that. Maybe a few more twos after that. The goal is at least the deathbed.
Yeah.
Well, you don't sound very excited about that.
Any
Do you
hoosies.
not want to make it that far?
Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
let's wrap this up because it's been way too long. Let's close this out. I will throw you two outside. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, go ahead and do so now. For those listening to us on Spotify, rate us 5 stars. Yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Yes, indeed, we will. If she still loves me by then.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I don't know. I can't tell right now. I don't like her energy. I feel like you might want to kill me.
Such a drama queen. Anyways, good night. Goodbye. We'll see you next week.
Ciao.